Hello everybody and welcome to the Telkom VS Masters Season 5. We are here with the grand finals of Comic-Con Africa Online. We have got Goliath, or no, we don't have Goliath. We have ATK versus DNMK. We had a big upset yesterday with DNMK beating Goliath Gaming in the lower bracket final, and they have earned themselves a spot against ATK, the best team in South Africa, the team that have been taking names over the past few months. They have not dropped a map throughout the entirety of the main event. Remember, these teams have been battling it out for 7 months to reach this point. Their journey started in February in the online league. They've been fighting their way across 3 different legs just to reach that main event. We then went into the group stage where there were 18 teams split into 2 different groups. From there, we succeeded with 16 teams into the championship elimination bracket where only 4 teams would prevail. Those 4 teams were Sinister 5, Goliath Gaming, DNMK, and ATK. The former 2 have already been eliminated, which means we are left with just 2 teams remaining out of over 100 that started off the year, registering across all the different leagues of the Telkom VS Gaming Masters. There are just 2 left remaining, ATK and DNMK. Nick, I'm so excited for this grand final.
Yeah, without a doubt. But the question is, there's 2 left, right? Dynamic, they took the scalp of Goliath Gaming yesterday, but ATK, they haven't dropped the map yet, but can they do when it matters most? It's the grand final, it's a best of 5, no map advantage. It's going to be some exciting stuff, but DNMK, we can't discount them. Yesterday, we were thinking, oh, Goliath, easy 2-0. Dynamic, they showed what they're really made of. They showed that they're here to play. They showed that they want their hands on that 100K.
Yeah.
But they got to beat ATK, right? They got to beat the best team in the country.
The thing that pretty much nobody's been able to do is get that win over ATK. They have been such a dominant team over the past few months. Literally nobody has been able to stop them. Yeah, there was one best of 1 that they lost to Sinister 5 on train. But outside of that, they've literally been unstoppable. But this is when it matters the most. As Nick said, we're in the grand final of the biggest event of the year. That's a 210,000 Rand prize pool in total. This is when it matters the most for ATK, Nick. Like I said, the biggest event. Are they going to get the job done?
Oh, are they going to get the job done? I think so. I think they're definitely running into this as favourites, but I think it's something to keep in mind. We definitely can't discount what Dynamic are capable of. Yesterday, they took the scalp of Goliath, and who would have seen that coming besides Mooncow? You know, the only person that saw that coming was, so who knows? Maybe his prediction's 3-1. I'm going to throw him under the bus. He said 3-1 to ATK, but I think it'll probably be 3-0, just understanding that ATK, they're very prepared with all 7 maps. They literally just go back to banning your opponent's best map and playing out the other possible 5 in that regard. So I think ATK are very strong coming into this. I think they, without a doubt, big favourites.
Yeah.
I think if you're calling Dynamic to win this, you probably need help, and it's definitely ATK that are running into this with massive favourites.
There's a few people who will have the belief that their org can do it. You know, you've always got those supporters in the background, and hey, I mean, it's a grand final. You know, there's no guarantee that the favourites are going to be winning this. DNMK had a great performance yesterday against Goliath. Speaking about DNMK, we have got Dweezil on the line once again. Welcome, my good friend. How are you feeling today?
Feeling good, feeling refreshed, feeling confident, and excited to get into the game.
So going up against ATK in the grand final, it's a best of 5 with no map advantage. You're going against literally the best team in the country. They've proven it time and time again. What is the mentality in the team approaching this game, knowing that your guys are such significant underdogs?
The mentality in the team is just play our game. Right now we playing some really good CS as a team, and everyone's gelling. All the roles are working out, and we're just going to play our game. We haven't really analyzed ATK or anything like that. We're just going to go in with our style and hope for the best.
100%. So you come into this game as massive underdogs, as Hayes alluded to. So there's surely no pressure on you guys. Obviously, all the pressure's on ATK. You know, they have to prove what they've got going for them. So surely that plays into your hands. You being such big underdogs, there's no pressure on you. You said you're going to play your game. So what can we expect?
I think you can expect much of what you saw yesterday. A lot of confidence and just hoping to get good trades, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay. Nico, ATK are one of your guys' main scrimming partners, if I'm not mistaken.
They have been in the last
Okay.
like week or so. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys have probably played a couple of maps against each other in recent times. How does that affect your guys going head to head, knowing that you guys have good ideas of each other's strengths, you have good ideas on what one another's been working on, you probably give some feedback to one another as well. So how does that change the dynamic, excuse the pun, coming into this matchup in the grand final?
I think it's beneficial, obviously, because we're more comfortable against playing against those players. But with ATK being around for so long now, like they've been together and they've been constantly adding to their strat book.
Yeah.
You know, in a scrim, they could be practicing one strat out of maybe 20, 30, 40, who knows how much they have, you know? And I know they're grinding really hard, so it's hard to say. I mean, they could bring a completely different style, I imagine, something that we've never seen before in scrims. It's possible, but yeah, I mean, it brings confidence because we're used to playing against those 5 players now.
Yeah, not like it's a foreign territory or something you wouldn't be too familiar with. Okay, Dweezil, well, it's short and sweet today, my friend. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, and we'll be seeing you on the server. Best of luck for the match, man.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
Cool. That was Dweezil from DNMK. Of course, one of the more recent acquisitions along with Divo, but they have worked damn hard to get to this point. They've earned themselves a spot against ATK in the grand final. And you can see that they know, as you said, Nick, they don't have the pressure on their shoulders right now. They can play with the freedom.
Definitely. And now we got Dweezil, it will be unprecedented in South African history. For those who don't know, he's on the brink of being back-to-back-to-back Comic-Con winner, which is like literally unprecedented. We've never seen that before in the South African scene. So Dweezil, he's going to be backing himself. We saw him firing at full tilt yesterday, so I'm sure that will be the whole of the night, but dynamic rather. But ATK, they're a different beast.
Yeah, they certainly are. Speaking about ATK, we have a very interesting interview coming through now. It is with the coach, Spray, from Israel. Welcome, man, and thank you so much for joining us.
What up?
So it's actually the first time we're getting to officially speak to you, Spray, all the way from Israel. You've been working with the ATK team for a number of months now. How have you been finding the relationship with these guys? Of course, you know, the difference culturally from Israel and South Africa. Has that been a gap you had to bridge?
I wouldn't say so. I have an experience of coaching a lot of like teams from different nationalities, Swedish teams, Danish teams, NA teams, UK teams as well. So I wouldn't say it's that much of an issue. Just like we clicked right off the bat. So and I also know Reese for a while.
Okay, and you just mentioned how you've coached a number of international teams. What has it been like coaching a fully South African roster, considering that you have a lot of experience working with professionals from all over the world?
I would say the main point of working with the South African lineup is that they literally believed in me 100%.
Okay.
Listened with no questions, and I could literally implement what I wanted, and it worked from what you see.
Awesome.
100%. Well, clearly it's been working. So, Spray, clearly you've been doing really good things. So, what are we going to be expecting from your boys in the server today? Is it going to be anything besides a 3-0?
We're expecting a clean 3-0. We don't even want to give like a double-digit rounds in the maps. I would say that our approach is the same. Outside of the server, we can speak and you see like on Twitter and stuff like that. But in the game, it's purely business.
Yeah. So something that we asked Dweezil just before we spoke to you was, you guys have been scrimming against each other a couple times over the past few weeks, or at least even the past couple of days. How does that change the matchup coming into the grand final here, considering that you guys were scrimming partners?
Doesn't change it at all, in my opinion. The way we scrim, we literally like find our strats that we're trying to implement in the scrim. So we have certain goals per scrim. So just like a little part. Other than that, like our game plan is just like something to fall back on every time.
Got you. Because, I mean, that's one of the big things in the South African scene that we've had to change the mentality towards is scrimming is often teams are playing scrims to win, right, and not scrims to learn things and improve their game. And that's what you guys have touched on. I've spoken to Slowy a number of times, and he always says in your guys' scrims, you're practicing something and that you're going to just work on that one thing as much as you can. So that totally makes sense that it doesn't really change the complexion of the game. Spray, what sort of impact do you have on this team? What would you say are the main strengths that you bring to this ATK roster?
First of all, I would say experience, for sure. It's how you should act in a team, giving the guys pretty much tools on their roles as well. I would say the way that we build that team in terms of like strats and all of that. And also discipline. I feel like I implemented a lot of discipline into this team. Communication, fundamentals, pretty much everything.
Okay.
100%. So, Spray, now's your chance, you know. There have been ATK naysayers out there that say maybe they're not going to be able to show up when it matters most, but you've got the time now to everyone watching. What do you have to say to the dynamic supporters and the people who don't think ATK are as good as they actually are?
I mean, I wouldn't say DNMK are not good, but we're just a level above.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, there's no questions about that. I'm pretty sure no one in the chat and you guys can't agree with that. So just like the fact.
Yeah, and you guys know what you're capable of, right? So that's the most important thing. You guys hold yourselves to that very high standard.
Yeah, we literally, as I said, when we go into the game, it's strictly business. And we try to keep it as clean as we can, as disciplined as we can, finish the game, and then we can laugh and do whatever we want.
Okay. All right, well, Spray, thank you so much for giving us some of your time and just letting us chat to you and hear your thoughts, man. Best of luck for today and really keen to see how the game's going to play out.
Thank you.
Cool. That was Spray, the coach of ATK Arena, all the way from Israel. One of the first international coaches to actually start working with South African teams. We've started to notice a bit of a pattern with other coaches coming into the mix as well. But Nick, strictly business.
Oh, strictly business, and that's exactly what we're going to see on the server, right? As Spray said, they see themselves as a level above dynamic, and I think pretty much everyone sees it the same way. But now it's the meat and potatoes, right? It's the business. There's 100,000 rand to the winner, 50,000 to the loser.
Yeah.
But can ATK show up when it matters most? Then we're going to have to only wait until we see the 10 players of the server and see what happens.
We will be finding out soon enough. You spoke about business. Why don't we actually get a word from one of the executives at Telkom VS Gaming, giving us some insights into how their operations work. We are joined by Wanda Mkhize from Telkom to ask her a few questions. Welcome, Wanda, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to it.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about Telkom's involvement in gaming and esports?
So Telkom's been in the esports game now for over 12 years. We're quite excited about involvement. We got involved really right at the beginning and have started off our league. I think our first game we had about 400 members on the team. We've grown quite substantially, still in small bouts, but quite substantially. We're sitting at over 40,000 league subscribers.
Wow.
We also look after the mobile league, which we launched December of last year, and we're quite excited about that. And also within the console space. So we're basically looking at ensuring that meeting our mantra of everybody is a gamer. So we've got something for everybody in that space.
I love that.
100%.
Awesome.
So where to from here for Telkom as a whole?
Well, for us, this is a very exciting adventure. I think we've 12 years in the game. You can see that Telkom has been in it for the long haul, and we will continue to invest in gaming. For us, it's about expanding and sponsorships and partnerships and creating greater access to gaming as a whole. We've partnered with our foundation to ensure that at the grassroots level, we're giving more and more opportunities for people to get into esports, traditional esports, as well as your mobile side of things. And I think as the environment is growing, mobile gaming in itself, your phones are becoming more capable of supporting a lot of these bigger games. We're seeing that this is the avenue that the world is going, and Telkom is still committed and investing and ensuring that there's prize monies across, so there's fun
amazing
and games celebrations and excitement for everybody across.
Yeah, that's so great. It's awesome to hear that you guys are fully committed to continue this venture. It's really exciting, and South African esports is very grateful. Obviously, you guys have been a major role player in where the scene has been taken to, so that's fantastic. Is there anything that you would like to let the players know before the big grand final today?
Well, good luck to everyone. I think it's always the culmination of hard work throughout the year. It's exciting to see and let the best team win. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, looking forward to an amazing win for everybody.
Well, Wanda, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. It was fantastic to hear from you, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you. That was Wanda Mkhize from Telkom VS Gaming, just giving us some of her thoughts on Telkom's operations. And Nick, it's really awesome to hear that they're still fully invested and continuing on this journey in South African esports. Like she said, they started 12 years ago, and they were pretty much the first large brand to get involved in South African esports. And a lot of South Africa's success in the esports realm is predicated off of Telkom's involvement in the scene.
That's exactly right. I mean, we're seeing Telkom, they're really pioneering the way for South African esports to be where it is today. If it wasn't for them, who knows what could have happened. So I have to say 100% thank you to Telkom for their involvement. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have this grand final on our hands today, which is exactly why everyone's going to be watching, and it's going to be a good one.
That's exactly it, Nick. So Wanda Mkhize from Telkom VS Gaming, just sharing our thoughts and giving a cool little interview. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the studio here. We are minutes away from going into the grand final between DNMK and ATK Arena of the Comic-Con Africa Online. Nick, bro, like, I'm just so keen for this game right now. These two teams have fought tooth and nail to reach this point. ATK, they haven't dropped a map in the entirety of the main event. DNMK, they showed they could do it yesterday against Goliath Gaming, but the question is, can they do it against ATK today?
Exactly. I mean, there's a big difference, no offense to Goliath, but there's a big difference between ATK and Goliath and what they can get done. In the South African scene has pretty much just been ATK and what they can get done, but Dynamic, they've showed that they mean business. They got a clean 2-0 against Sinister 5. They then won against Goliath Gaming yesterday 2-1. So clearly they deserve to be in this point. They deserve to be fighting for this 100,000 rand that's on the line.
Yeah.
But as you say, ATK, they're a different beast, and we know what they can do in the server, but Dynamic, they can't be discounted.
That's the thing, is DNMK have proven that they have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with the best in the country. We all knew they were capable when you just look at the individuals in that team, but they just had a bit of a stutter start once they got things going. Had to change the roles a number of times. They started off with Dweezil as the IGL, or the man actually was the IGL first. Then they switched Dweezil onto the IGL role. Now they've gone on to Nexus taking over the reins, and it seems like they've finally settled on him as the IGL, and they've been playing a very, very free-based approach in their game, which means they're very difficult to predict, but also they don't really have those protocols to fall back on. So if their individuals aren't firing, Nick, what do they do from there?
Yeah, that is going to be a big problem, and especially when you speak to teams and you speak to players, when you talk about ATK, when you speak to them, they say ATK force you to make mistakes, and when you make those mistakes, ATK make them make like as if they're massive mistakes. They're not just like missing a flashbang or stuff like that. ATK make a misplay from one of you. You really feel the repercussions of making a bad play if you're playing against ATK. So if you're Dynamic, you previously we've always said that they're always going to thrive in the individual play, especially when Nexus is calling this more free-flowing sort of style of RGLing, then they are going to have to go for those solo plays sometimes and in and about. But we saw what they were capable of against Goliath Gaming, winning out at Vertigo. Dweezil was a main account in that sort of matchup. On Dust 2, they were able to 4-man up onto short, 4-man up to out towards B, and Adara and Zip and the boys, unfortunately, they just didn't have the answer to it. So clearly Dynamic, they beat out Goliath, and Goliath were in the conversation for top 2.
Yeah.
And now Dynamic, they're now in the conversation, but the question is, can they beat the Goliath of ATK? That is a whole nother beast in itself.
Yeah, it certainly is. You mentioned, though, how clinical DNMK were yesterday, in particular on Dust 2. The one thing I will say is, and it's something you touched on as well, is how ATK won't be letting you win 3 versus 5s and those sorts of things. You know, Goliath dropped the ball a number of times yesterday against DNMK on that Dust 2 match. The same can't be said for ATK. They are absolutely clinical in their approach. They're super disciplined as well. So you're not going to be getting away with 3 versus versus 5s and just winning rounds off the back of that. They're going to have to be a lot more convincing, I think, in those certain situations. And you can't make any mistakes on your turf as well, because ATK, you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
You talk about giving an inch and taking a mile, and you talk about the individual players that DNMK have. But I mean, if you look at the ATK roster, you talk about individual prowess, and the two names that jump to mind are probably Fady and Slowy.
Yeah.
And those are probably the two most potent players that we have in the South African scene right now. I mean, Slowy is relentless with the AWP and his re-aggression and his aggression after that. So I think that's definitely going to be something to keep in mind. Like, can Heartbreak counter how Slowy tries to AWP, or Dweezer when he's on the AWP? Can they counter one another?
Yeah.
Or how is Fady just going to tear up the server? How are they going to stop that from happening? So there's a lot of question marks around DNMK and how they're going to stop ATK. But again, like as I said, ATK, they're massive in the scene. They're top one in the country, no doubt.
Yeah.
But can they show up when it matters most? That is the real question. Can they take home the 100 smackaroons?
Yeah, that's exactly it. This is the biggest event of the year in South African esports. There is 100,000 Rand going to the winning team in this grand final, 50,000 Rand to the winning team as well, which is still a pretty penny, Nick. But no one's going to be too content with that just yet, especially with both these teams in the finals. They're both going to be gunning for that win. Another little interesting thing I want to touch on is you were talking about head-to-head fights. We have Blaze on the side of ATK and we have Dweezer on the side of DNMK, and they are the only two players in South African Counter-Strike to have featured in all three grand finals of Comic-Con Africa. In 2018, they went head-to-head against one another. Blaze was playing under Big Five with that roster with Lighters and Custom and Convict, like really experienced players, while Dweezer was playing for that Energy Academy team, which featured PND, Taylor, Domster, and the likes of them, and the Energy Academy team were able to win out on that occasion. Then in 2019, it was Big Five against Energy again, except this time Blaze was on the same team as Dweezer. They were both on that main Energy Esports roster, and they beat Big Five again in the grand final. So that was the second final for both Blaze and Dweezer. Now coming into 2020, they're on the opposite sides of the server once again. Blaze featuring for ATK, Dweezer featuring for DNMK. Can Dweezer win 3 Comic-Cons in a row? Can Blaze win back-to-back Comic-Cons in a row? Another really interesting thing is that Blaze featured in 3 different organizations in all 3 finals. He played with Big Five in 2018, Energy in 2019, and now ATK in 2020. And Nick, that has to be a testament to how much of an impact this guy has on the teams he plays in, because he's now done it with 3 different teams.
Definitely. I mean, when you think about the top players in South Africa, Blaze isn't one that really is in the conversation, but he's got the accolades to prove that he should be, right? Like, yes, he may not be the person that drops 30 kills every map like the likes of Fady or Slowy, but he seems to do the dirty work on the likes of on this ATK roster, which is something to keep in mind. So I think Blaze, he definitely has the accolades, but he's up against Dweezer, obviously, as you said, currently back-to-back. Can he make it back-to-back-to-back? That is the real question. Blaze, he's got one of his own, and he wants to get the one up on Dweezer. You know, Dweezer's got one Comic-Con to Blaze, so can Blaze even up the odds?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting as we find out soon enough exactly who is going to be taking home this victory. ATK, certainly the favorites. Let's talk a little bit about predictions here, Nick. We heard Spray say in the interview it should be a 3-0. Not only that, but they don't even want to let DNMK reach double digits on any of the maps. Not outside of the realm of possibility, actually, Nick.
Not at all. I mean, considering the numbers ATK put up against the people in and around where DNMK seem to perceive themselves in the South African scene, along the likes of DNMK, Sinister 5 and Royalty and Online Kingdom, those seem to be teams in and around them. Even the likes of Goliath have had have struggled a lot against the likes of ATK. They haven't actually been able to win out any of the matchups, and ATK, they're spotless running into this final, right? So it makes you question, what do DNMK have in the pocket? What do they have in the back pocket to really take this fight to ATK, and what will make this result different to any of the teams ATK have played in the past? Because pretty much ATK, they've been wiping the floor with everyone, and we've seen so far this tournament as well.
Yeah, speaking about results, why don't we have a look at the road to see how we arrived at this point? We are back here with the upper bracket showing the rounds and exactly how they all played out. You can see at the top of your screen ATK, 2-0 XD, 2-0 Energy, 2-0 Goliath Gaming. It was clean, it was clinical, it was composed, and they secured themselves a spot in the grand final as a result.
Yeah, definitely. But also one team that we see in the upper bracket there is Dynamic. They beat out Since the 5-2-1. Then they dropped down to Goliath 2-0. But something that's interesting is, yes, they dropped to Goliath 2-0 and ATK may have beat Goliath 2-0 in the upper bracket final. But the fact is that Dynamic are in this position right now. They beat out Goliath yesterday 2-1. That was in the lower bracket final. But yes, ATK, they have a spotless record running into this final. So they haven't dropped a single map. So the question is, what is going to make today any different? Is today the day that ATK not only possibly lose, but do they drop a map? Do they drop double digits? Or like, what's going to happen? It's all ifs and buts at this stage. But I mean, you never know. It's a grand final. It's where the ice in the veins needs to come out from all the players. And I think ATK, they've got what it takes. Dynamic, will they really show up? Will they really prow it? Will they really fall back on those individual players? Or will we see the team really coagulate together and have a good performance?
Well, there certainly is some BMT in this DNMK roster. When you look at both Dweezil, who's, as we've already mentioned, won the past two Comic-Cons. Let's not forget the man either. He also featured in that Energy roster last year, which won Comic-Con 2019. So they have the individuals on the team who are capable of getting across the line when it matters the most. Let's have a look at the lower bracket road. So we get to see exactly how this lower bracket ended up playing out. All the teams on your screen right now, their road has come to an end. They've all been eliminated. They fought so valiantly. They fought so hard. And we have arrived at this point right here. DNMK had to battle it out against Online Kingdom. It looked dicey in that match, Nick, but they did get across the line 2-1. It then started to look way more composed and way more clinical.
Definitely. When that matchup against Sinister 5 came out, we thought it was going to be as 50-50 in a matchup as possible, but Dynamic, they just showed up on Inferno and Train in that regard. They banned Overpass in that. They left that out. They knew that was one of Sinister 5's strong suits. They just took the battle to Train, and they won that out very, very convincingly. So Dynamic shown that they prove that they can be here, they should be here, and even that result against Goliath proves that to be the case. Yes, they fell down in Inferno 16-12, but then they ended up winning Vertigo 16-12, and then they ended up winning Dust 16-5. Like, who would have thought that would be the case? Dynamic beating Goliath? What? Dynamic beating Goliath on Dust 2, when Goliath weren't even able to post double digits, let alone half of that. Goliath only posted 5 rounds against Dynamic yesterday, which shows that Dynamic mean business.
Well, Nick, that performance on Dust has had a bit of a shockwave throughout the scene, and I can tell you right now, ATK, they felt that as well, because coming into the veto, the first map that ATK decided to ban was Dust 2. There was conversation, are they going to ban Inferno because it's DNMK's best map, and ATK haven't been playing too much Inferno recently. Are they going to ban Vertigo because that's the map that they banned against Goliath recently, and we saw DNMK beat Goliath on Vertigo yesterday. No, they don't ban either of those maps. They ban Dust 2. That's a respect ban right there.
That is definitely, considering how convincing that result was for Dynamic against Goliath yesterday, 16-5, as I said, the fact that they were just able to four man up short, 4 men out B, and the trades were on point, and Adaro, Zip, and you don't have to mention the rest of Goliath because they star-studded names. I mean, ADM, they didn't have a response to Dynamic's out like lasting aggression that they were bringing to Goliath. They just had a stunning T performance, a resolute CT side, and they ended up finishing out 16-5 victors. So I think that Dust 2 ban is definitely having a knock-on effect from what happened yesterday. Yeah. And we are seeing Dust 2 getting banned first, but Dynamic first banning Overpass, I think that was pretty given, considering they were
pattern for them.
Yeah, they've been starting to drop it against the likes of Sinister 5 and Goliath. Yes, those two are very strong overpasses. So do ATK, but if you think ATK, you don't really think Overpass. You probably think Mirage, you probably think Nuke, but it's kind of interesting that Dynamic are rather falling back on that Overpass ban instead of just straight up banning the opponent's best map.
I don't know, man. ATK are pretty ball on Overpass as well. It's definitely one of their better maps. Going into the rest of the veto, DNMK decided to pick Inferno, so they picked their strongest map out the blocks. I love the decision as well. Going into a best of 5 as the underdog, you want to get on the board as quickly as you can, and I think Inferno is probably going to be the highest chance that they have of winning a map.
Yeah, definitely, especially when when you've taken the likes of Goliath, who arguably have the best Inferno in the country. Yes, ATK won it out early against them in the upper bracket final. That was when Goliath were 11-4 up, if I cast your mind that far back.
Yeah.
Then ATK had that stunning T performance when they were able to bring it back and win that out. I think it was about 16-13 in the end.
Yeah.
So yes, Dynamic, if they do have a chance, it will be on Inferno. And they have been showing that they know their fair stuff on Inferno themselves, how they play the map. 16-12 lost to Goliath. It was close.
Yeah.
Did they throw a couple rounds? Probably.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's Inferno, which is going to be the first map, which is going to be something exciting to feast their eyes upon.
Coming off the back of Inferno, we are going into Nuke, which was picked by ATK, and it's one of the maps that was pretty much the first home map pick for them. They became really comfortable on Nuke already a couple months ago, so much so that they didn't even continue to pick it because they wanted to add other maps to their repertoire as well. So Nuke is a completely a stock standard pick for them, and certainly going to be an uphill battle for DNMK. Yes, DNMK do play Nuke, but it's not like it's one of the maps that you think that they could go toe-to-toe with ATK. Just running through the rest of the veto quickly, because we're not too far from jumping into this grand final. It's going to be Mirage as the third map, which I fear for DNMK on Mirage quite a lot, because ATK are another beast on that map altogether, featuring both Slowy and Fady, in my opinion, the two best players in South Africa on the map. And then just to finish it off, Vertigo will be the fourth map, and Train will be the fifth and final map if we reach that far in the grand final here. It's the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5 Comic-Con Africa Online. We are here on the first map of the series. It's Inferno, it's ATK, it's DNMK. The winner will be crowned as the champions and take home a whopping 100,000 rand.
100,000 smackaroons. Imagine walking away with that amount. Like, that is absolutely nuts. That is insane that we're seeing from the Telkom Gaming VS Masters Season 5. It's ATK, it's Dynamic, it's the grand final, and this is where we see the difference between the men and the boys, and we're going to see Mr. and the boys seeing what they can get done on Inferno.
Yeah, no, we certainly are, Nick. ATK starting proceedings here on the CT side as well. Doru's got 2 flashes and a kit. DNMK, they've got 2 flashes and a smoke. And it looks like they could just be going for the super basic halls pop. If ATK watched the demo yesterday, they should be aware of this. But no, it's a bit of an adjustment. Going to be bursting out a boiler towards the safe bomb side. All 4 players charging out into top mid. And they have secured control at the bare minimum. ATK, though, they've got Blaze just jiggle peeking towards the top of Banana. So he's got a wealth of information right now, which has allowed ATK to rotate that extra player across towards CT, which means they do have 3 players on the safe bomb site right now. And they've even been able to work their way around. Look at how aggressive Mistim is getting into apartments. If the timings on it could work out, it looks like, though, DNMK are going to be trying to split onto this B bomb site as they force Doru back. He's able to get out with his life alive, and he even takes down Divo, and he's going to continue to push back towards this B bomb site. Heartbreak coming through as well, but ATK, they're quick on the rotations. They need to get even quicker, though, because Dynamic, they're charging onto B.
Oh, Blaze gets his head ripped off over towards Family, but Fady missed him, and missed him actually charged in with 2 of his own, and just the player that had the bomb site to himself, he's able to get it into a 1v3, but he only gets 3 kills in the round, and Mistim and Slowy, they finish it out, and ATK, they posted the first round of the grand final of the Telkom Gaming VS Masters Season 5 in line with Comic-Con Africa.
Yeah.
Can Blaze go back to back? Can Dweezil go back to back to back?
Yeah, even the man has a chance to go
Even
back
the man,
to back
exactly.
this year as well. But Nick, you and I, we had the pleasure of casting the high school esports league this morning between Paul Roos Gymnasium and Parklands College. Just watching that pistol round, and you can just see the difference between the teams, right? Like, no offense at all, but these guys are so damn good. That's a huge grenade as well. That's certainly going to be upping Fady's utility damage numbers. Man, oh man, the server is just so stacked with skill right now. And Nick, it looks like ATK have already pitched up this morning, and they're raring to go. I mean, I know that this is anticlimactic, Nick, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had a quick 3-0 grand final.
Like, I couldn't agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more, actually. Like, I know Dynamic, they're at this point in the tournament. Yes, they're very good. Yes, they've taken down the likes of Since the 5, the likes of Goliath. But I mean, we're talking about ATK here. We're talking about Mistim, the biggest brain in the country. We're talking about Fady, possibly the best rifle in the country. We're talking about Slowy, the best AWP in the country. Like, they just have the best players. But you know who's going to try and make a difference is the man, Nexus and Divo. They're going to get the first 3 kills of the round. And just like that, it's Mistim and Fady left in a 2v5. Wow. And it looks like Dynamic, they're going to take the fight to ATK. A 1-1 split from the side of the ATK boys. But Fady, he's going to try and bring things back. there's a player that can do it on the ATK side. It's him, and he's got the first in the round, but Divo takes down Missed him, and it looks like Dynamic, they're posting the first on the board, so at least it's not going to be a 16-0.
Hey, I mean, that was a convincing round from DNMK. Good job by them as well, considering the superior weapons they had going into the round. It was really important that they got across the line there, and they've already broken the economy of ATK, which means they're going to be able to, they should be able to secure a second round for themselves here. Remember, Nick, it is the T side where DNMK find majority of their success on this map, as is the same for ATK. So we've got that same situation where the CT side is of utmost importance for both of these teams. Who can have the more successful CT side? That's probably going to be who goes on to win this map, Nick.
Definitely, definitely. And we saw in the ATK Goliath matchup, ATK were down 11-4. Look at the nade. They were down 11-4 against Goliath. And they were still able to win that out about 16-13. So that shows what ATK, they mean business on the T side. But the same can be said about Dynamic. But I mean, we say it all the time, Dynamic and Goliath, they're different beasts, and ATK, they're a different beast all in all, but Dweezil, being the weasel that he is, he's going to shoot Fady in the back, but Slowy, he's still got all this info that it's probably still going to be a B play. Heartbreak seems to be trained in the angle, but Slowy has got the bomb, he has dropped the bomb, and he's got a bullet through Heartbreak's head, and now it's a 4v4, and things are getting a bit scrappy in this round.
Yeah, this is awkward right now for DNMK, but if they can find this frag on Slowy, then the A bomb side is completely open for the taking. It doesn't seem like DNMK are considering that just yet, though, as they are still leaning towards this B bomb site. But as time progresses, you can see the conversations being had right now. Do we rotate back to A or do we commit to B? And it actually seems like it's going to be the latter, Nick. Even though there's a bit of a fake from Dweezil here towards top mid, how much are they going to be relying off of this? It seems like it is just that, a fake alone, which means the 3 DNMK players are going to be pushing into this B bomb site. Missed him. He gets found out by Divo. There is still these 2 players rooted, though. First Oranges and Family. Is there anything they can get done? Nice clean shot there from Nexus, and they now know where Doru is as well, so he should be taken down momentarily. Okay, disaster reverted for DNMK. They secure their second and they level things up here. That's going to be allowing them to breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, right?
Definitely. I mean, they posted 2 rounds on the board. They've equaled out ATKs. This is probably the time when the nerves start cooling down. But we speak about the nerves, and they're probably all on ATK right now. Yes, ATK are running into this confidence, but Dynamic, they said they were shooting for top 4, top 3 in the tournament. They've already achieved that. Now they found themselves top 2. All the pressure is on ATK. Dynamic, they said it themselves. They're just going to play their own game. But it is Slowy who's got the AWP trained from upper B, but he's going to miss his first shot of the round. He's already flashed off. Missed him, just jiggle peeking towards the top of middle with the FAMAS in hand. He's going to drop that smoke as soon as he gets contact. He's going to get out and dodge towards the A site. He is tagged down to 19 points of health, and Slowy boosted on the half wall. He gets taken out by Divo as Fady rather takes down Dweezil. And now it's a 4v4 mid round.
Exactly that, and off the back of that, it seems like DNMK are going to be gravitating back towards this B bomb site where Blaze lies in wait by himself. Fortunately for him, he does have that smoke to buy a bit of extra time once the presence does come through from the T side. And that's exactly the play from ATK right now. Leave Blaze spotting by himself. As soon as he sees anything, he drops the smoke and the rotations come through, and he is going to be spotting Divo on the angle. Divo with the AWP again. He's already been able to have an impact with the weapon. And Blaze just waiting for the timing. He just steps out. He only needed to land 1 bullet and he secures the frag. And is that enough to dissuade DNMK from this B bomb site, or are they just going to continue to work the issue here? Because ATK, they haven't rotated anyone. Blaze, he found, I was going to say, he found a smoke on his fallen comrade, Nick. Really nice attention to detail there from ATK. And also, this fakes that there could be 2 players in the B bomb site, right?
100%, like him re-smoking that towards upper B. It gives Dynamic an idea that 2 players are still over towards this B bomb site. That's why they're about to dip out. Yeah, the bomb is still towards upper B, but there's 20 seconds left on the clock, and they've taken the bait, hook line and sinker. But ATK, they're rotating off the bomb site. All of them are out of position, but they're actually going to get back onto the bomb site. Doru's going to drop the molly towards lane, and they're going to still try to press the issue. Doru towards the back of default, unable to get anything done besides that onto Heartbreak. Heartbreak gets 1 and missed him with a spray transfer, gets 2 of his own, and ATK posts the 3rd. And Dynamic, they took the bait, hook line and sinker. They got out, they went to A, where 3 players welcomed them with open arms.
I feel so bad for the man. He was posted on default just watching pit and mini pit while his teammates were taking control of the bomb site, and he was just waiting for somebody to swing out of pit, but there was nobody there. And he could have traded his teammates if he got aggressive with them, but you can't fault his decision making there. Very unfortunate. ATK winning that all-important gun round and going back to winning ways. I'm going to talk about it again because it's a really important talking point. Remember, these 2 teams have struggled in the past couple of weeks on their CT side of Inferno. And It's about whoever's going to be able to bring the better CT side to the table today. That's probably going to be winning Inferno. As DNMK try to force their issue onto this B bomb site, but they run into a hail of bullets. Doru gets in on the action as well. And it's pretty much a clean-up on Isle Banana.
Yeah, clean up on Isle Banana, and Doru and Fady said they'll take the ego frags all day of the week. You know, Blaze the only to fall in the round. He falls to the deagle of Dweezil, but it's ATK that have posted for Heartbreak. He's subsidized himself for a bit of a scout buy, so there's going to be a full investment from the side of DNMK. They were unable rather to get the bomb plant last round, which is a bit of a monetary loss in that regard, but ATK, they still found themselves 2 rounds to the good and a full buy that to fight off against once more. Slowy's taken all that damage in Banana already. We're going to see, oh, that's towards upper middle actually, but he doesn't have an AWP this round, which is something to keep in mind, but he's nice and trained in Boiler, and if he goes overlooked, Slowy could have a couple frags in his hands.
Yeah, we see this free flow style coming through from DNMK, but Nexus doesn't check his corners, then Slowy's able to capitalize, and off the back of that, he's going to continue to aggress as he walks his way into balcony room, and he catches Dive off guard as well. The man desperately wants to trade it out, but Dweezil will be able to, as Slowy doesn't realize how aggressive one of those T players had actually gotten. So it's a 2 versus 3 as the dust starts to settle.
Blaze.
And Blaze has already gotten aggressive through Banana. This is a play he absolutely loves to make. Nick. He loves to make this play as often as he can, but Dweezil's ready with the support flashbang here. The info's come through. Blaze is completely blinded up, and the man will be able to take that frag, and that means the B bomb side is wide open for the taking. Dweezil just trying to secure the bomb, and he's going to be making his way across immediately. And that flashbang alone keeps Mistim for a few seconds longer at the A bomb site. The man's also already gotten in position here on B. So this is certainly a winnable round for DNMK. The problem is they've got no smokes for the cross, Nick, so they have to take the fights. That's so unfortunate for DNMK. No smoke for the cross. And Dweezil, he had a teammate. Now he only has 2 health.
He's only got 2 health and a dream.
How does he even get across?
You know what he also has 2 of, though?
Literally, what is it, 2 opponents?
2 Comic-Con wins.
That's true, he does. And he's got a great headshot there onto Mistim. He just swings out the wide peak, and he destroys him. And now he's going to be able to commit to the plant as well. The molly keeps Doru at bay. Yes, there's a flash and a Kitcher for Doru to work with, but Dweezil's already on the angle. Rooted in Bri, he's got the audio cues, he's ready and waiting, and he's going to be taking Doru's head clean off. What a big clutch there. 1 versus 2 for Dweezil. He had 2 health in the 1v2, and he wins it out.
2 health.
That's a baller play right there.
2 health, 2 opponents, 2 Comic-Con victories. 3 rounds posted on the board for DNMK. You love to see it. ATK 4-3, but the AWP's out on Slowy once more. That we're going to see that throughout the game, right? As soon as DNMK take brackets control, you're going to expect that aggression in Banana from Blaze and from Doru. Blaze, the only one to fall with a great support flash coming out from apps from Dweezil. The man was able to get an avenue into that bomb site, and early aggression does go the way of DNMK in this round. They've taken Banana for the most part, and brackets is going to be fought for, but Slowy, he's trained on the angle. Nexus is going to smoke him off and not entertain him at all, and it is in 8 rounds in, and wow, my word, we've already seen our first. Well, that's just a taste of what we're going to see. Like, we get 3 maps at least.
The aperitif.
Oh, exactly. Oh,
Slowy
the man
gets caught off by the man pushing through his own smoke there, or Nexus's smoke at least. Regardless, he gets aggressive and catches Slowy off guard. This is looking good from DNMK right now, Nick, as they start making their way on towards the safe bomb site. Mistim's been flushed off by the molly, but he's got support from Fady, who drops the flames of his own, and he segregates the aggressing T players as he takes down the man. Now DNMK, they have to try and conjure up another way to get into this bomb site, and it's going to be towards Archers, where Doru takes the fight. He does a huge amount of damage to Heartbreak, bringing him down to just 2, but it's not enough, as he is still alive and kicking, and Nexus takes down the aggressing Mistim, and now it's going to be very tough for Fady on this bomb site. They wouldn't know exactly where he's repositioned, but still, he's being converged upon here. How does he even make this one work, Nick? He's trying to take the fights, he's going to line them up, he gets the first, he gets a spray transfer on the second, runs out of ammo, but it doesn't matter because he still has the USP. The support is coming through thick and fast from Blaze as well, and Divo is a dead man walking as they do the dance of death around the box. Divo goes down.
Fady, ice in his veins, big game play. He posts 4 in that round, which was all needed from the side of ATK. After falling down, he gets 2, lines them up, knocks them down, gets 2 more later on in the bomb site, over towards Pit and over towards the bomb site. You know, if Fady is there, DNMK, they need to get out. Fady posts 4 in that round. He's already 10 and 5. He's showing up.
Yeah.
And ATK, they're looking good. Blaze came in for the last frag. You know, he said, Fady, Reese, I'll clean up for you, brother. You know, you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. I'll get a frag with my P250. And Reese said, you know what, brother, I appreciate it, you know. And I may not be in the Cape Town house with you, but okay. I appreciate the kind work.
That's what separates this ATK team from the rest of the teams in South Africa, is it really doesn't matter who's left alive. If there's just one person, they can win out those 1v3 sort of situations on a bomb site and secure the round for the team. Massive individual play there. But look at the economic situation that both of these teams are in, Nick. It's like a full buy, but neither of these buys are looking very good. A good flashbang, though, comes through from Mistim, and that awards a double kill to Doru. Great support flashes coming through from Mistim. It's something you'll always notice. You press tab at the end of the map, you have a look at the other stats, and you'll just see sometimes he 40 bombs with enemies flashed. I'm not joking.
Yeah. Mistim is not really one of the players that he gets all the off scoreboard impact in rounds. He doesn't get the kills and the assists and the deaths all the time. But he leaves that to the heavy lifters on the team like Fady and like Slowy. But
yeah, because you can only do heavy lifting when you have the support structure underneath you,
exactly, right? Exactly. So he makes their life so much easier.
Exactly, enables them. Let's see what Nexus and the Man can get done in this round. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be much, as the Man gets taken down by Mistim, boosted up on Family. The funny thing about Mistim, though, right, is he is a star-studded player. He certainly has the capability and the discretion to be involved in that conversation of top 1 players in South African CS. When you look at a complete player, he's a clutcher, he's an IGL, and he's a fragger when it's required. Slowy, he's a madman, that's what he is.
Slowy's a madman. Yeah, I agree with you. When I look at this ATK roster, I've always said for a while now that I personally think that Mistim is the best player in South Africa. I think what he does, what he gives to the team, the fact that he calls, the understanding he has of the game, and he's still able to frag at the end of the day. Yes, he doesn't frag as much as Fady and Slowy, but I mean, for what he does for the team, the sacrifices he puts in, I think he's probably the best player in South Africa in that regard. So I think it's not a stretch.
It's such a weird conversation to say best, because it's like, what are you looking at when you bring in that
best
conversation?
Is like person who drops 50 a game.
Or you're looking at the most complete player. So it's like really, it's so many different, it's a really qualitative conversation to have, because there isn't really any set parameters. But I entirely agree with you. You're certainly going to hear Mistim's name when you have that conversation of who are the most complete, who are the best and most impactful players in South African Counter-Strike. His name certainly should be involved as we head into an anti-eco round here for ATK. And pretty much the first time they've been able to have full rifles and AWP and full utility, even though we're into the 10th round here, Nick.
Oh, the nade! What? Oh, I was hoping we'd see like a dunk on like 4 of the players all dropping to like 30 HP. But they are going to be grouping up towards top and middle, all of them hiding behind the top mid smoke. Mistim's got a molly of his own, but it does look like they're just going to flash through it. Mistim's good for 1, 2, 3 on the spray. Nexus finally takes him out. Fady cleans up 2 of his own, and Mistim, he's showing up. He's 12 and 5.
Yeah.
When we're saying, oh yeah, you know, Slowy and Fady, they're going to do the heavy lifting. Mistim says, guys, you don't know what you're talking about. we got 7 rounds.
Don't forget
Mistim's
me.
got 12 frags, and he's feeling it. So I definitely think he's going to be one to look out for. But I mean, on the side of Dynamic, we got players pulling their weight for the most part. There's 3 players. Exactly, I was just about to say, like, but we got to start to see Diver and the Man. Like, yes, it's seen as the Diver and the Man show, but if they're not showing up, they're going to have a really tough time. Yesterday we saw Dweezil taking the mantle. The Man didn't really show up yesterday, but we're going to see what he can get done. And that's when you know everything's going your way, right? You know, you're full blind, getting free kills. Fady looks away at the wrong time. The Weasel gets a frag. They're going to flash over towards top of mid, and there's already 2 players in the air bomb sites.
Yeah, what you just witnessed there from Fady is something that tends to happen with ATK. They get overly aggressive when they start getting ahead like this, especially considering that Slowy found that opening pick. There's no need at all for Fady to continue to aggress, but that is just a symptom of their success that they're finding right now. And this is on the CT side as well, Nick, which has in the past been certainly the weaker of the 2 halves for both of these teams, but probably more so ATK than DNMK. Doru right now in Library is going to have a task on his hands as he peeks out of Library on the angle. He's able to find one, but Divo returns the favor through the smoke, and Dweezil waits for his smoke to dissipate. He's able to get a kill as well. Slowy gets removed from the equation, and all of a sudden it's a 1 versus 2 for Blaze. Hasn't had to do all that much on this map just yet, Nick. Now he finds himself in a clutch situation, and I mean, it's pretty stock standard as the B player that you end up making a number of clutches on this A bomb side of Inferno. When you've lost your teammates, you end up in this sort of a position. And he's not being given anything right now. DNMK not taking any fights, not holding any angles, just sitting back and waiting for Blaze to make some sort of a move. He's looking to try and edge his way into the bomb site right now. As soon as Heartbreak activates, that's when Dweezil can come through. Blaze has taken Heartbreak down, and Dweezil's taken quite long to realize. I thought Blaze would have considered that he could be in the pit, but he was certainly set on the bomb site, and thankfully Dweezil's able to close it out.
Dynamic post their fourth, but it was a real tough fight at that. They were only able to survive that one round with one alive. Dweezil's able to purchase up a rifle of his own. He's able to drop the AWP over towards Heartbreak, and I'm sure that if Blaze won that out, that'll be in the next YouTube compilation. We'd love to see one of those soon. But ATK, they found themselves 3 rounds to the good. They're still going to fully invest into this one. They've got 3 noticeable rifles on their part with an AWP and two M4s, 1 FAMAS and a UMP on that of Mistem. But Fady, he's going to push the issue over towards Dweezil. Slowly gets one into Nexus, and
I hate
you're just
those
not going to have a
walls,
good
bro.
time.
Those walls are paper thin.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god. Tough draw there for Dweezil after he got spotted out by Fady, and he could just hold down mouse button 1. Such an important round here for DNMK after winning the previous. They have to try and string some together here, Nick, to try and put a bit of pressure on this ATK team. Once this ATK team starts rolling down the hill like a snowball, they gain even more and more momentum and become even tougher to stop. It seems like DNMK are going to be trying to make it work towards this B bomb site. 3 players making their way forward. Heartbreak with the AWP, hoping to find an entry for his team. They've got the util to make this exec happen, Nick. They've got 2 flashes, 2 smokes, and an HE, so they can do the standard exec, smoke coffin, smoke CT, pop flash over the top, and then walk into the bomb site, take contact. But there's a crossfire in play, and you can see ATK, they've got the inclination that the B exec's coming through because Slowy's already leaned all the way back to Speedway to try and rotate across as quickly as he can, and that rotation's going to be required as that hit is coming through. Doru nearly getting caught off guard there. He's able to stay alive, and his teammate Blaze doing a fantastic job of just taking the heat off of him, allowing him to just stay alive for as long as he possibly can. In fact, does Blaze even need any help is the question, because he's getting the job done on his ace right now.
There's a Kobe.
Oh, I thought maybe it would have missed, but Heartbreak, he swivels 180 off the back of throwing the grenade. He takes down Fady. He knows where Blaze is as well. He's going to be able to secure that frag. All of a sudden, it's down to the 1v1. He has no choice. He's heard Mistem charging up Banana. Mistem realizes that he's let go of the defuse, but now he is committing, and Mistem tries to force him off. He hasn't got the frag in time. Now Heartbreak's been able to get the angle with the AWP. All of a sudden, the tables have been turned. He misses the shot, though. Mistem continues to force the issue. Heartbreak lands the leg, but it's not enough. Mistem desperately trying to get the frag, but he can't do it. Heartbreak with the ace secures the round for his team. Was that a 1v4?
1v4 from Heartbreak. He's showing up. He's a big gameplay. He's got ice in his veins, and there's now a 2-round difference. Heartbreak's heart is racing right now. He's feeling it. He's showing up. And ATK, that was a round that ultimately went begging. They're going to have to save into this one. Just a mag 7 on the side of Fady, but great round coming out from Heartbreak. A 1v4 against the best team in the country. That is something you frame, you put up in your bar when you're 80 years old, you know, stuff like that. But Slowy, he's going to make this as competitive and as expensive as possible, pushing the issue with this USP. The question is, he's actually going to get a second with it. Nexus looking the wrong way, so now it's a man advantage. Now Fady's going to push the issue over towards lane.
Don't do it,
actually
Fady.
dig the man. He's actually good for 1. He's almost good for the second, but now it's Diver and Heartbreak left in a 2v3. Heartbreak knows his position all too well.
Yeah, he does, but that doesn't mean he wants to have to clutch again. His heart is still going to be racing. He's at 140 beats per minute. And it seems like DNMK are going to be able to avert the disaster as they congregate towards this B bomb site. Both of the players grouped up in Banana, and unfortunately for ATK, they find themselves on the wrong side of the map right now, and they start to realize that as well. What I will say, though, Nick, is we have a bit of a downtime in this round right now. That clutch that Heartbreak had in the previous round, that's what elevates the entire team. Everyone feeds off of that energy, and they all feel like equals with Heartbreak, which means if they see their teammate Heartbreak winning that 1 versus 4, they know that they have the ability to do it as well. So all of a sudden, it instills this belief in the entire team. Such a big impact to win clutches like that.
Without a doubt, but the clutch that they are going to have to win as a team now is this 2v3. It was a full save round rather from the side of ATK, so that nade is not as well placed as it could have been if it was a couple seconds later, but it's Dive over towards Family. He's actually going to get the first on towards Slowy. Heartbreaker's going to get the frag over towards Doru. So now it's Blaze left in a 1v2, no armor in hand. He has traded out for the AK. He does know where both players reside. The flash comes in. He's actually able to 180 and catch out Divo. So now it's a 1v1. The player that knows this position all too well, Heartbreak in the clutch. He needs to try and win this out, but there's no time left on the bomb. And Blaze, he's just going to be sticking around to do economical damage. And this was a full save round from ATK, so it was a round win in itself. Only one player staying alive. from the side of Dynamics. That was USPs and a Mag 7 that Fady purchased. So not only did Fady get $900 for the kill he got, Slowy got 2 kills of his own, Blaze with 1.
Yeah.
And now Dynamics money is in the dumpsters. Nexus can't even get an AK on the board.
Yeah, which means if they lose this round, they're not going to have any money to buy up in the final round of this first half. In the grand finals of the Telkom vs Gaming Masters Season 5 Comic-Con Africa Online, we are here in the first map between ATK and DNMK. DNMK desperately need this round and the round thereafter, Nick, just because of this T side being where they find majority of their success. I don't know if it's going to be enough going into the CT side if they only have 6 rounds, and Divo just catches Slowy off guard. When you're playing against ATK on the CT side of Inferno and you're on the T side, you need to always be watching middle, because Slowy just changes his timing up all the time. It's not like, oh, he hasn't peaked in the first 3 seconds, he's not going to peak. No. He peaks when he likes. So
he'll even peak with like a minute left in the clock.
Absolutely.
If he's getting nothing there. So, you know, either he gets a frag or he gets his head ripped off, but at the end of the day, he gets info regardless. So we are going to see what they can get done. But ATK find themselves in a man disadvantage, make that 2 as Nexus gets the frag over towards Fady and Apps. And now it's just missed him, and he's rotated teammate Doru on the bomb side trying to ward off this dynamic hit. Nexus is in missed him rather, is in a very nice position over towards the back of the side, a bit of an off angle to the people that run into the site. But the question is, do Dynamic, all players are here, so ATK have made the read completely. Mistim gets the first, he's able to drop down, Doru helps him out, Doru is only good for 1, and Dweezil TKs.
It is a TK.
What? So now it's a 1v2, but they're just dipping out. 30 seconds left. Doru knows.
But Doru's made the read, exactly that. He's also hightailing it towards this B-bomb side immediately, not hanging around and waiting to see if it is a fake. Perhaps he's just committing to it, and he might get in position in time. Heartbreak with the AWP. He's going to be spotting him, so at least he now knows. And Doru is going to continue surging forward. He's in a position where he can win this 1 versus 2, but it's going to be a tough clutch to say the least. Fresh smoke comes through as well. Did Doru spot the player just before the smoke balloon? He's certainly going to be getting the auto cues. He comes around the corner. He takes down Heartbreak. He knows that Dweezil has to be towards Banana as well. He doesn't. He doesn't seem to have made that realization. Dweezil was just behind the half wall, and he's going to be able to secure another clutch for the team, Nick. Number of clutches coming through from Dweezil here on Inferno. Super high impact frags from him as the scores are level 7-7.
It's exactly what we wanted. It's a best of 5 grand final. We wanted it as closely contested as it could possibly be. But Dynamic, they're winning out the all-important clutches. ATK, they've posted 7, but we always talk about it, right? Both these teams pride themselves on their T side, how they approach them and how they perform in them. So if you're ATK, even if you're down 8-7 at the half, things are still looking really good for you. Dweezil and Divo, they've got 180R between the two of them. Fady and Doru, they've also got 180R. All players firing at full tilt. Blaze, the only one really falling behind. The same can be said about Nexus. But, you know, like both these matchups, both these teams rather, they're really showing up with the best of 5 grand final. Yeah. And this is Dynamics map pick, which is something to keep in mind. I don't see a way in which they win Nuke. But if they can win this map pick Inferno, then we have a game on our hands.
Yeah, if DNMK can pick up Inferno, it sets us up for a very scintillating rest of the best of 5. But it is not a foregone conclusion by any stretch of the imagination. As I've said a number of times already, ATK find majority of their success on the T side of Inferno. So the fact that they've already secured 7 rounds for themselves means that they are already in a pretty good position, all things considered. Just got a quick tech pause here as one of the DNMK players, the man, reconnects to the server. He's already back in real time. There we go. Joins us in the past as well. Of course, we're 2 minutes behind on GoTV. And we're going to be heading into the final round of the first half with DNMK having a far superior buy than what ATK have, Nick.
Definitely, and that all goes down to how close these rounds have been. Every round seems to be a 1v1 affair, but the all-important thing at the top of the screen is the fact that Dynamic have posted 7 and they've equaled ATKs, but whoever takes this last win in the half will be looking at a better scoreline into the second half with no doubt, but the T side of ATK is definitely something to keep in mind. Obviously we saw them go down 11-4 against Goliath and they were still able to win out that. So the question is, what do Dynamic do differently to what Goliath were unable to do? Heartbreak trying to get something done through the smoke, and he's actually going to a deep banana smoke that actually has a gap. He is actually able to catch out the aggressing Blaze. And Dweezil, he's going to push the issue over towards Apps, and he's going to catch Fady looking the wrong way. So 2-man advantage going the way of Dynamic early in this round. A minute 20 seconds left, and like it's already a 3v5.
That's what you get when you have a player like Fady in your team, though, right? Is that he's 14 and 10 right now, so he's having a fantastic impact throughout the half. But he also his aggression sometimes ends up leading to his demise and can leave the team in a very challenging position as well, when he ends up being taken down without having any impact. But it works out more often than not in ATK and in his favor. So that's why he sort of has that free reign to have that sort of approach, in particular on the CT side. Right now, the Desert Eagle on Slowy will actually connect onto Nexus. That's a big frag, Nick, because now ATK can start focusing their resources towards this A bomb site, where the hit is going to be coming through momentarily from DNMK, but surely they're still going to be getting this round across the line. It's just missed him on this A bomb site right now. He's blocked off. His support's been blocked off by smoke, but Slowy just charges straight through, and Mistim's able to get a pick, but surely that's all it's going to be in the round. I don't see how Mistim can get anything else done from this position, considering they know exactly where he is. But as I say that, the bomb's been planted. It is a 2v2. And we're going to be seeing the man. It's not a 2v2. The HUD's just glitching, Nick. It's playing with me. There's no the man on the mini-map, but he is alive regardless. And he gets a frag, as does Divo. DNMK get a lead heading into the second half.
8-7 is the score. And I mean, if Dynamic, if they're able to pick up the CT pistol, then they're looking really good to have a good say in clearing out this map. But we always talk about ATK's T sides, and they've already posted up, they've already bought, rather, 2 smokes and 4 flashbangs between Mistim and Doru. So that does suggest that it is going to be either an A or B play, like who would have thought.
But Nick dropping the knowledge.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes teams like to throw that quick CT smoke and a little bit of a fake, but it does look like 4 players towards second mid and 1 towards Mexico are going to come in, as Mistim's just going to pepper down some shots. No util has been thrown, no damage has been exchanged so far in the second pistol round so far. Mistim, he's going to smoke over towards Moto.
Look at the setup from DNMK. They've got 4 players towards the say bomb site right now. They've got the perfect read as to what sort of a strat ATK are bringing to the table. And ATK, they're committing to this hit right now. They've been able to get into pit. The smokes have worked perfectly. They're all the way, but still nobody's been taken down on the opposite side of the map. Mistim will open up the account for ATK. Fady finds a frag as well. In the meanwhile, Diver's been able to trade it up, but it's a short-lived trade as he gets taken down by Fady. Mistim finds a second as well, and it's ATK who have all but secured the pistol round here, as it's only Dweezil left remaining. He's pulled off some good clutches in this game so far, but certainly not going to be having a chance in this one. And that pistol round sets the tone for the rest of this half, perhaps, Nick.
Definitely, considering Dynamic had 4 players over towards the A bomb sites, and ATK just good spacing. They hit the site with good effect. Mistim was holding the flank. He gets a free kill on his own, and he's able to get another over towards the player with his pants down towards the top bracket. So 8-8 is the score. And Dynamic, they're choosing not to reinvest besides the deagle that Divo purchased up. But otherwise, Dynamic, they're going pretty much for a full save. But Divo with this deagle, he could be as potent as anyone in the server with it. But Fady, he's just trying to get some of these eco frags over towards Apps, trying to get something done. A position he knows all too well on the CT side. He's been shot in the back of the head a good couple of times in the first half. But Divo, he's got this deagle, and he's going to be shooting Fady in the head.
Bro, this guy's just too good at the game, man. Just barely a pixel angle left for him to work with, and Blaze is going to go down as well. That was a bit of an information push, right? Go, Blaze, go find out, are they stacking on B? Yeah, he gets the information, but he only sees 2 players off the back of that ATK. They're going to be charging in towards A. Nexus has been spotted out in Boiler, but will ATK anticipate a second player to be in the apartments? Divo's salvaged that MAC-10 that Fady had dropped earlier. He still has the Desert Eagle in hand, though. Can he deny the defuse? He's been spotted out by Doru, but he's still going to be able to find the kill, though the trade does come through. However, it does leave the man and Dweezil in a winnable 2 versus 2, Nick. As they start to converge onto the bomb site, but Slowy with the AK. He's got that range fight over ADM, or rather over the man, and he'll be taking him down.
We had 2 ex-Comic-Con winners in the clutch. The man and Dweezil trying to get something done, but it's ATK. They post the 9th. And Dynamic, it looks like they're going to partially invest into this one. It looks like they want to get the double AWP set up out. Nexus has just purchased up that scout, which makes these deagles and these nades just that more important. A well-placed nade and a good-placed scout shot could mean that the scout pretty much becomes an AWP if all these players are tagged down below 70 points of health. The first person to take damage is Slowy, but that's nothing considerable. Blaze is down to 68, but Dweezil, he's got a deagle. He's going to put Blaze in the grave. And now the early man advantage going the way of Dynamic once again. They actually get 2. Doru gets the trade out on towards Fady. Throws the gun away to good effect. And now it's a 2-2 setup for the bomb sites and a 3v4 for the side of ATK.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good result for DNMK right now. Slowly going to hold down mouse button 1, but somehow Dweezil is able to matrix his way through all of those bullets. Doesn't connect on any of them, does Slowy. And ATK now, again, with a man down in a round in which they had all the advantages in their favor, now have to somehow try and salvage a 3 versus 4. Going across to A with all 3 players, they will have that man advantage as there are only 2 players here from DNMK's perspective. And neither of them are taking the fight, right? Divo, he's cupped in the corner right now, and he's going to be able to swing out with the Desert Eagle. He finds 2 clean headshots. The trade comes through from Slowy as he takes down another, but there's no way he expects the man to be in archers as well, and the man takes him down. It's an eco round 1 by DNMK. That is a huge let-off, and there's no money in the bank for ATK either, Nick.
Oh, Divo's position just goes overlooked. He swings out, he gets 2 of his own, does some extra damage over towards Slowy, and Slowy unable to win out the clutch. But Dynamic, that was a partial investment from them. And now ATK, they're choosing to fully invest into this one. They've got a couple deagles, they've dropped over a couple rifles, and Heartbreak, he's going to open his account in this round. He's going to take down Slowy early, and it's, even though he is dinked down to 12 points of health from the Galil that Slowy was wielding, Slowy finds himself in the grave. And maybe that Galil will be better in Doru's hands. That's exactly what's going to happen. Him being backed with the armor, they've traded our pistols.
Blaze hoped, yeah, he was like, bro, just give me at least something from this trade. I don't want a Glock.
Still going to walk into 3 players though.
Yeah, and it seems like ATK not going to be reconsidering any other options, like potentially going back up and retaking Banana. Or are they? They've got a smoke and the flash left in the pockets, so they're going to have to expend that util very effectively, and the smoke is going to be towards Library, I believe, just blocking off the front of Library and then allowing them to potentially split through archers. But the man is already here towards Fountain. He's locking it down, making sure there will not be any shenanigans towards CT, and that's going to be a big flashbang as well. So how do ATK work this one right now, Nick? How do they try and get onto this A-bomb site? As you said, there are 4 people here right now for DNMK, ready and waiting, and the man on the angle with the AK, he's already opened up the account. He's going to take down another. Nexus also finds a frag as Fade. He's able to swing out of the apartments. He finds 2 quick kills, and he picks up a Galil for his troubles, but still, there's a job to be done here in the 1 versus 2 as he starts to make his way towards the bomb, but I just don't know how he makes his way through this crossfire of doom. He doesn't.
He doesn't, and we're talking to Spray, and he said he doesn't want to let Dynamic get double digits, but one thing Dynamic have got is exactly that. 10-9 is the score in favor of Dynamic, and ATK, they're looking at a double eco, or at least an eco at the least in the face. So it does look like Dynamic will be posting at least a 2-round buffer coming into the latter half of the CT side of their map pick, being Inferno in the best of 5 grand final where 100k is being played for. We're going to see what ATK can get done. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Yes, Dynamic have posted 10 and possibly 11, but it's ATK. We know what they can get done. They're not going to be getting ahead of themselves. They're not going to be. There's not going to be panic stations for them. So it's just going to be standard procedure really for the side of ATK.
Should be. Now that we have an eco around here, Nick, I want to talk a little bit more about the veto, because it should be fairly stock standard here for DNMK. And the point that I want to make is that Mirage is the 3rd map in the series, and that was picked by DNMK, even though Vertigo was still in the pool. Now, why I find that really interesting is because DNMK have been the best on Mirage, on Vertigo and Inferno. So why did they leave Vertigo for the 4th map and let Mirage be that 3rd map? Because if they don't win here on Inferno, I fear the 3-0.
Exactly, that's something really to keep in mind, especially considering the success that Goliath have had on Vertigo against ATK, and then considering that Dynamic actually beat Goliath yesterday on Vertigo. It does make you question as to why that pick only comes in as the 3rd map in the series. Or actually, rather leaving it in and not picking it. Oh, but Dweezil's only good for 1. Blaze comes in with a trade, as this is a full buy round for both sides, which holds quite a lot of weight amongst it.
Yeah, more so for ATK than DNMK, right? If you just look at the economic situation right now. Fady, my God!
He spotted the barrel.
Did he peek from the left or right side of Dweezil's perspective there, or Heartbreak's perspective?
Right side of Heartbreak's
Okay, so he came from balcony room.
Yeah.
Okay, that's unfortunate. I thought he literally swung from the stairs for a second. Anyway, 1-man advantage here for ATK to try and drive this round home, but it looks like DNMK are going to be re-aggressing towards the top of Banana. This could lead to their demise, or it could lead to their surmise, and unfortunately it's going to be the former as they end up getting taken down. And lots of damage done in the process, but unfortunately just not enough. It's going to be a 10-11 scoreline here as ATK get back to winning ways on their T-half.
If only Nexus knew the HP, then maybe he would have gone for it. The two low HP players, 25 HP between Blaze and Fady, and a well-placed nade could allow for a double kill to come in, but it's missed him, the only one with considerable HP. But the fact is that the bomb has been planted. The round has pretty much been secured for ATK. As soon as Dynamic get 11, ATK are hitting back with one of their own, and the economic situation for Dynamic is not looking particularly great. They have one more buy left in them, and then they'll be staring at a double eco in the face. So now it's time for ATK to start stringing a couple rounds together and really putting Dynamic into the grave on their map pick, as we said.
Yeah. Big map here for both of these teams to try and set the tone for the rest of the grand final. We go to Nuke next, as you can see on the right-hand side of the HUD. Mirage thereafter, which I'm very skeptical of. Why did DNMK not pick Vertigo? Could be a pocket pick. Maybe they've been working on their Mirage, but then I would have expected them to bring it out yesterday. Normally, as the underdogs, you don't want to leave too much in the bag because you're not sure how far you're going to be making it. So I'm not going to go as far as to say that it is definitely a pocket pick, but it could be. We'll have to wait and find out as we go into this all-important gun round. Double AWP setup in play once again for DNMK. Nice boost up here on the half wall. Will be netting Dweezil his first frag of the round and opening up the account for DNMK.
Dweezil's really showing up in the grand final. He's already got 21 frags. I think he's at the top of the server right now.
Yeah.
So things are looking really good for him. Missed him not far behind, but the fact is that Dynamic, they still find themselves one round ahead of ATK. And that is something you alluded to, is like that pocket pick, in inverted commas, if it is one. Why are you waiting until the grand final? Like, surely against the likes of Goliath, you would have just picked it.
Sinister 5,
or even Sinister 5, exactly.
You know.
But ATK, they perfectly sound a Mirage themselves, so
Yeah.
it does make you think, why are you leaving it for the third map? But maybe, as we said, maybe Dynamic, they've been pracking a lot more than we would expect to be the case. But they did lose recently to Online Kingdom on that sort of map, so maybe Dynamic, they've been putting in the practice since then. But it is going to be a man advantage for them coming into the mid-round of this one. 45 seconds left on the clock as all the ATK players are going to congregate for a B hit as Mistim is carrying the bomb over towards that bomb site. Over in the site is the man, and Dweezil going to be welcoming them with open arms. But a well-placed flashbang could mean both these players are going to be off. But a smoke towards Coffin is going to come in first as the hit is going to come in. A smoke in response and a flash towards Pool. But the players, they're just going to go through it. But there's no flashbangs to actually hit the sights in. So you're just running through a smoke dry. The man gets one into Doru. And he's actually good for a second. Finally, Mistim comes in with the trade. And now it's Dweezil stuck behind the smoke. The bomb is going to be planted. But can he get the spam through? He's just missed it just over towards the right. And Mistim, he's going to reposition over towards the front of the Coffins. Now it's a 2v4 retake and Blaze. He's going to try to peek towards CT and through the smoke.
God.
He's going to catch Heartbreak. And maybe gets a second over towards Doru. Dweezil's position is known. So Mistim, how many is he good for? He's good for one, and Dweezil can't come in with the trade, so Blaze gets another. Now it's Divo left in a 1v2. This was a 2v4 post plant.
Mistim behind
and Mistim
you.
and Blaze are absolutely putting on a show. Doru,
Oh,
Blaze takes contact. Mistim
bro.
180s. Now was a 2v5. Mistim gets 3.
2v5.
Blaze gets 2. And that is what ATK are capable of. As you said earlier, anyone that's left alive has the capabilities of winning a round, and that's exactly what Blaze and Mistim just showed us. A 2v5 textbook stuff.
Yeah, man, that is such a tough pill for DNMK to swallow, seriously. I mean, that was a round that had everything going for them. Blaze was in such an awkward position after the bomb was planted as well towards first oranges. He sprays down one of the people through the smoke. Somehow he's able to get back to family, continues to take fights left, right, and center. Mistim's just chilling there at Coffins, looking up at his kill feed. Blaze gets a frag. Blaze gets another frag. He's like, bro, what are you doing right now? I'm just chilling. And eventually he comes into the fray as well. What a fantastic job there by Mistim and Blaze. And that's Mistim now pulling ahead on the server, Nick, as he goes up to 23 kills. Fady with 20 himself, 18 on Slowy, who's actually been quite quiet, all things considered. I mean, I didn't think he'd have as many as 18 kills, but he's just been tapering away as this map's been going on. And look at the aggression from DNMK, just charging down middle right now, looking to try and overwhelm the T players, but they get met by a hail of bullets. Mistim adds an extra 2 ego frags to the tally, and it is just the man left in a 1v4.
It's just an eco round, not really much to write home about. But the fact is that Dynamic, they've now fallen one round behind the likes of ATK. So it was an uphill battle to start with. But now it's even more of an uphill battle. You're one round down to ATK, the best team in the country. But 12-11's the score. It is Dynamic's map pick. So them falling to this will pretty much set a precedent for the rest of the maps coming in the series. It is a best-of-5 final. No map advantage. None of that shenanigans. We are going to see at least 3 maps on the board, and ATK, they've already posted 12 in the first to Dynamic's 11, and Dynamic, they're going to full invest into this one. Nexus not really showing up in the grand final. He's 6 for 20 right now. He's having a really tough time, but ATK, they're going to meet this buy round with full aggression. Doe over towards the top of Banana, catches Dweezil full blind by a flash from the man. The man, he's going to stick around probably for too long, so Doe's going to get a double entry. A smoke towards CT is going to come in, so that is the B bomb site that is going to be open and is going to be vacant as Divo is going to... Divo, Molly's burn, in case you didn't know.
No,
that was a bit unlucky.
Make sense.
That was unlucky.
Bro, that's what I hate about Molly's, is like you can be 2 meters above it, but it's not even up there. It's just on the floor below you and it's still cooking your feet. It's not fair.
I don't know why people are always leaving my mixtapes on the floor. Like,
it's just fire,
I don't
bro.
understand.
Oh,
like,
Nick.
why?
I like it, bro. I like it. Good one.
But that was a full investment from Dynamic.
And that's a back-breaking round to lose, right? Because ATK just gets so aggressive. But that's what ATK love to do when they recognize that the other team is in a corner. They want to deal that killing blow. And that's why they get so aggressive
the jugular.
And exactly that. They go for the jugular. That's it. Ravenous animals are this ATK team.
Nexus, he's just going to try to save the M4. Like, ATK would have won the round regardless whether Divo fell to the flames or not. But the fact is that's another rifle that you have to reinvest. So that's,
you can't reinvest into this round either.
Exactly. So that's a different theme that we're going to be looking at. But now it's a 2-round buffer that ATK found themselves in. So Dynamic, they're going to partially invest into this one. Everyone's going to buy around the 2K mark, as ATK found them 2 rounds to the good, and the money is looking really good on their side. Doru is touching that 10K mark. The other players, besides Blaze, 6,500 and above. They're just going to nade stack towards the bottom of Banana. Decent nade placement. Tags missed him down to 58 points of health, and Blaze down to 69. But this fast Archmo comes out. Heartbreak misses a couple shots, so Fady trades him out. 13-11 is the score, and the A bomb site is pretty much vacant right now, as the last player on the A bomb site is Nexus, as players have been dropped through the smoke, and Blaze took out a full blind Dynamic player. Now it's a 2v5 retake, and if you're Dynamic, you got to save once more.
Yeah, Nexus is already making his way towards the opposite side of the map. Of course,
You said it multiple times. Why did Dynamic not pick Vertigo? So this seems to be the only chance that they even have to reach Vertigo, let alone win it out. So if Dynamic lose Inferno, I don't see them winning Nuke. And unfortunately, even though they picked Mirage, I don't see them winning Mirage. So if Dynamic do lose this map, it does look like they're going to be on the end of a 3-0 loss, but you never know what they can get done. Obviously, no one saw that 16-5 victory that they got on Dust 2 yesterday, so that's something to keep in mind. But ATK, their money is looking really good. The same can't be said about Dynamic. They have purchased up the AWP towards Heartbreak. Dweezil and the rest of the boys have all got M4s and full belts of utility. The only kit on the server is on Nexus, and he's having a really tough time in the grand final. He's 6 for 21 currently. But we know that Nexus has more impact off the scoreboard. And we're talking about the impact Mistim has off the scoreboard, and so far this game, he's showing up. He's top of the server. Slowy, he's on top of Flames right now, taking damage as Heartbreak is trained towards Boiler. He's probably going to have a peer over towards middle. He's going to take Slowy out in the round. No AWP on Slowy's back, but Heartbreak is going to open up this round into Dynamic's favor. 14-11 is the score, and 4v5 is the mid-round.
DNMK desperately need to get this round across the line as ATK start trudging on towards the say bomb site. The Juggernaut moves as the Juggernaut likes. They still have enough utility to change up the plan here if they so choose. As you can see, they are receding back towards this B bomb site. They've left enough flashes and enough smokes to make something work. Fady, he's in the apartments. He's going to catch off Nexus. And now we can look to get aggressive into the say bomb site and just sow the seed of doubt into the minds of DNMK. However, there's not really much of a response coming through from DNMK just yet. They still have 2 players on this B bomb site with the crossfire set up, and Fady's going to get taken down by Divo. So that's a nice little bit of innovation by him. And it actually seems like ATK have changed their minds here. They're now going back towards the say bomb bomb site. They have left Mistim towards the top of Banana, though. Is he going to try and sell a fake before he rotates across? He has got the smoke and the flash, and he is indeed going to be doing exactly that. Smoke over the top towards CT. Flash comes through as well, and they are trying to sell this fake, but Heartbreak, he has been spotted out by Blaze. That's a massive problem, Nick. And he stole somehow. He's going to be able to get the frag. Tries to rattle off another shot through the smoke, as Divo is going to have to do the job on this A bomb site right now. They don't know exactly where he is, and he'll be able to find a frag before they recognize his position. Mistim does take him down, and he's now left in the 1 versus 3. He has no time to change any of his approach. He has to plant the bomb immediately. He spots out Heartbreak, takes down Dweezil, the person following up. He knows the man is there as well, but he just can't connect on the headshot immediately, which means that the man will be taking him down. And DNMK continue to fight here on Inferno.
That's so unlucky, that little micro adjustment that he did just off the man's head. If he lands that headshot and Heartbreak has got the AWP up close and personal, that we could have had a Mistim 1v4 in our hands.
Yeah,
I mean, we've already
sure.
been treated to a Heartbreak 1v4 and a Mistim and Blaze 2v5. Those are just the two highlight plays that come to mind, but ATK, they're still looking really good. Dynamic, even though they won that buy round, is still very expensive for them. They're still able to get the AWP out on Heartbreak once more. He's able to bring that into the next round after surviving the last. The AWP is out on Slowy, so that's something to keep in mind. Is it's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to take Heartbreak out. They're going to trade rounds.
Man.
Heartbreak knocks Slowy down early in the last. Slowy's going to do the exact different. Dweezil is going to burn down Blaze. Blaze is firing hot, and it's not in the good way in that round.
Yeah.
14-12, and Fady's going to open up the A bomb site. The last person here is Nexus. He hasn't been having a greater time, and Fady, his aim is just like a laser beam. Fady's feeling it. The man and Dweezil left in a 2v4, and all they can do is submit map points and look to play for overtime on their map pick. 15-12 is going to be the score.
Yeah.
Dynamic, they've got an uphill battle.
That's always been a feat of Fady's game, though, right? So he's just got like this robotic turret-like aim where he just like seems to just move onto people's heads nearly every single time he aims at somebody. He's got really smooth, clean aiming. Certainly been a feature of his game for as long as I've been watching him. In fact, for anybody who doesn't know, Fady's an ex-COD player, guys. He used to play Call of Duty a number of years ago, and he has now transitioned across to Counter-Strike. Definitely one of the better decisions he's made, considering where he's ended up. He's already traveled to America with Bravado under Project Destiny. They were there for 18 months, had major success on that side of the world. Now he's looking to emulate that once again with ATK and perhaps go even further, as Dweezil is desperately trying to save his weapon. And fortunately for him, he'll be able to do exactly that. But the economic situation on DNMK is dire, to say the least.
You know what else is dire?
The score?
Yeah.
What?
15-12.
Tell me, Nick.
Also, if Fady was playing COD, he probably had no friends. Like, let's be honest. Like, if you play COD, you have 0 friends.
I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know about that one.
But he's definitely better now, so it's fine. You know, one of those players in South Africa, as one does, but it is going to be this banana take that's going to come out. Blaze, he's firing hot again. Ooh, the nice nade. Decent nade, though. He knows where Dweezil is.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we know what that means, but be there as it may.
Going to continue to get aggressive here towards the top of Banana as the flashes and smoke start to come through. But DNMK, Nick, it's an MP9 of FAMAS, an M4 and an AK along with the Des Legal to just try and keep themselves alive here on Inferno. A map that they needed to so desperately win to keep themselves in the hunt here in the best of 5. Lose this map, it's going to be setting a very poor tone heading into the rest of the series. Yes, they were competitive, but this was the one map that they stood the highest chance of on getting across the line. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be happening unless they can somehow make it happen with these weapons they have at their disposal. Yes, they haven't lost any players just yet, but they've been pushed all the way back into the bomb sites. They've got no more information to work off of.
They literally have 0 info, and you can tell that by the fact that the bomb is dropped in spawn, and ATK are playing this as methodical as possible. They're just starving the information from the side of Dynamic, and all they're going to do is group up into a bomb site because they know that there hasn't been any rotate that's been cheated over to either of the bomb sites. There's still 2-3 setup, so you're just going to go to the site which has less people, and now it's -1 on top of that. So the last player in the bomb sites is Dweezil. He's going to try and get something done, but there's no trained on him by Slowy, but Slowy's going to get absolutely deleted, so Dweezil's good for at least 1 and done, but Fady, he's going to lock in these rotates. He's got his first onto Heartbreak, the sound cues from Divo are given out, and he's going to get a double, and he's good for 2 all the time. So Dweezil in the bomb site, he's the last person that's trained on. He gets the kill in towards Blaze. Now it's a 2v3 retake as Nexus comes late into the rotate. 6 and 23. He's not having the best time, but now's the time to show up for the side of Dynamic. If he wants to get something done, he should be able to take out Doru. He does it as Doru gets 1 and Mistim gets the next, and ATK posts the first map on the board. 16-12 is the case, and that was Dynamic's map pick.
That was Dynamic's map pick, Nick, and unfortunately they weren't able to get the job done. It was looking promising at one stage. They had a nice little fight back in the end of that first half, but they just didn't get enough rounds on their T side to give them that buffer heading into the CT side. ATK, it was a bit of a stutter start from them, probably not as clean and clinical as they would have liked, but they get the job done.
Yeah, ultimately it doesn't matter how you win out the map, whether it's 16-1 or whether it's quadruple OT. The fact is that you've posted the first map on the board, and you need 2 more, and you've got 100k. You know, like, it doesn't matter whether you won it out like 16-5, how hard it was, but the fact is that ATK, they found themselves 6-12 up. They've got the one next to their name, and now they need 2 more of them, and they'll have Blaze, who will have 2 Comic-Cons to their name. But that's all. That's only Inferno, so we still got 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 more maps on the cards.
Potentially, guys. So, to try and up the ante here on the panel a little bit, we're going to be bringing in some guests in between each of the maps just to get their thoughts on how these games have been going. And starting off with those proceedings, we've got God's Not Dead joining us. Welcome, Josh.
Oh, how's it?
So did you manage to catch that map?
I was watching the scoreboard. Couldn't log into my Twitch app, so I couldn't watch, but I was watching the scoreboard.
Yeah, so just from your experience, of course, for anybody who's not familiar, we have got God's Not Dead on the line. He is the IGL of Royalty Esports. You would have played against both DNMK and ATK a number of times. What do you make of this head-to-head battle between these two teams?
I'm actually very surprised that DNMK got it so close. I was expecting a much harsher scoreline to ATK, but yeah, it's going to be a good game though.
Okay, and heading into the rest of the series, the next map up is Nuke. Of course, one of your guys' favorite maps as well. How do you see it playing out on Nuke between ATK and DNMK?
I think if ATK expect the aggression from DNMK, I think they'll close it out quite quickly.
100%. So, Josh, obviously, Dynamic, they're in this position to start with. They were actually able to beat out Goliath yesterday, which was a surprise which pretty much no one saw coming. So, clearly, Dynamic, they're good enough to be in the first place. So, what do you think makes Dynamic the opposition that they are?
I think that Dynamic have a really strong players on their team. It's like I'm a big fan of a lot of them. And I think that the firepower is a big factor into their success. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, and heading into the rest of the best of 5 series here, God's Not Dead, just the last question for you. Do you think it is going to be the 3-0 for ATK, or do you think somehow DNMK can maybe steal a map of them, or even go as far as to upset the whole series?
I think if Dweezil pops off again like yesterday, they could get a map, but I'm expecting 3-0.
Okay, there we go. That is God's Not Dead from Royalty, sharing his input with us. Thank you so much, Josh, for just giving us some of your time and your thoughts as well. Nice to just get a few extra opinions here on the panel, bringing a few guests. We're going to have another one in between the second and the third map as well. Nick?
Yeah, I mean, God's Not Dead. He's been one of the up-and-coming IGLs. Obviously, this Royalty roster's up-and-coming. It's probably around the top 6 in the country. I mean, lately said himself, him playing for Since the 5, that probably this matchup between 3 to 6 has been as close as we've seen in South African esports history.
Yeah.
But, like, we talk about 3 to 6 today. In that 3 to 6 is a name we throw around all the time, which is Dynamic.
Yeah.
But now they find themselves in the top 2. They took down Goliath. So, Dynamic, unfortunately, after the first map, they found themselves 16-12 worse off. But, you know, you're still able to win out the next couple maps, as Josh said himself. If Dweezil does completely pop off, and maybe ATK don't expect the aggression, the outlasting aggression that Dynamic are capable of on a map like Nuke, then maybe Dynamic will be able to steal a map. Will they be able to turn over the whole series? That's going to be a tall ask. But when you got Dweezil, who's fighting for back-to-back Comic-Con wins, you never know, anything's possible.
Anything is possible indeed as we head to Nuke as the next map in our proceedings. But before we do that, we're going to be having a short ad break just before we jump into that second map. My name is Hayes. I've been joined by Nick. We're in the grand final of the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5 Comic-Con Africa Online. Map 1 completed. ATK pick up the plaudits. We're heading into Nuke next. Be sure to join us.
is Josh, and the game I qualified in was Castle Defense.
I only have one chance, but then I've been trying to play the other games just for fun.
Welcome back to the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5. We are in the middle of the grand final between DNMK and Goliath Gaming. We just came... Oh, and ATK, I keep on doing that. I just can't believe Goliath Gaming are on in the final, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I still can't get over yesterday. The fact that there's a blue logo behind me, I think it's props to the hard work that they've put in, the backing that they've got from the org. Jules has really put in a lot of effort into the org and getting sponsorships with the likes of Adidas and Predator. That's what I was thinking of. And they've hooked up the players with good equipment, and ultimately that's why they're here today, right? They've got the full backing of the org. They've beaten the heavyweights that they've had to face to get to this point. They find themselves in the grand final, albeit one map down. But can they bring it back is the real question.
We're going into Nuke next between these two formidable teams. ATK just won the first map 16-12. It was Inferno, and it was a vital map for DNMK because that was the one map that we always thought they would be competitive on from DNMK's perspective, that is. And unfortunately, they weren't able to get across the line. Now we're heading across to Nuke, which, yes, traditionally is considered a strength of DNMK, but it is also ATK's arguably their best map. So how on earth do DNMK go up against them here, Nick?
Yeah, definitely. When you speak about ATK, you speak about best team in the country, and the first map that probably jumps to mind is their Nuke. So it's going to be definitely an uphill battle, and I don't think any team in the country really rivals ATK pretty much at all in a map like Nuke. So it's definitely going to be a tough battle, but we know we've seen Dynamic have some upsets against people, so you never know. But is Nuke the map that is probably going to be happening? I doubt that will be the case. Maybe we need to look further on in the series, maybe on like a Mirage there could be an upset, a Vertigo as you spoke about, and maybe getting as far as to say that they could win it out on Train. We see what they can do on Train, but that's the fifth map, and we're looking at like past Nuke. I don't really see a way in which Dynamic have a say in this map, so but you never know what could happen. I mean, but it's ATK, you know, it's the Goliath that they are. It's ATK, it's Nuke, like hello.
The problem is though, right, going into this map, if DNMK go down 0-2 in the first two maps of a BO5 grand final, they then face the prospect of having to reverse sweep ATK if they're going to be winning it here. I mean, that just sounds like such a tall order. Near impossible, I would even go as far as to say, which leads me to believe and leads me to say they have to win here on Nuke to keep themselves in the hunt, Nick. I don't think they'll be able to win Mirage and then Vertigo and then Train, I believe, is the third map. It just seems insurmountable.
Yeah, it does seem like an extremely tall order, and as you said, like, if they don't win Nuke, then it's definitely panic stations for them. And we've got extreme experience on their sort of side. I mean, we've got Dweezil and the Man who've already won Comic-Con before. On the ATK side, they've also got experience. They've got NA experience in Fady. Like, he's been overseas, he's done it, he's got the T-shirt. So for ATK, they've got it all going for them. They've got the momentum running into Nuke. They will be starting on the T side, I would assume, because what happens in vetoes, if you pick the map, the other team gets to pick the side. So I would assume that Dynamic choose to pick the CT side. Yes, they pride themselves in their T performance, but with a map like Nuke, you're definitely going to want to start CT rather. So ATK, they're going to be able to judge the pace of the game starting on the T side, so they've definitely got it all going for them. But if you're Dynamic and you don't win Nuke, it's definitely going to be an extreme uphill battle, taller than that of like summiting Everest or something like that. It's definitely going to be an extremely tall order.
I couldn't agree more, especially considering that third map in the series is Mirage, a map on which ATK have looked so convincing. Even when we chatted to Mistem, he said, yeah, they don't really pick it that often, but they certainly consider it one of their best maps, and they're happy to just leave it there. They're happy to float it, let other teams pick it coming into the series, and then all of a sudden ATK have basically got two of their strongest maps starting off the series. So I'm nervous for DNMK, to say the least. Going into Nuke, it's going to be a tough one, and it's a map that they pretty much have to win to keep themselves in the hunt. If ATK go up 2-0 and lose it from there, that would be the biggest upset of the year by a country mile, Nick.
Oh, I think you really can't think of any more fairy tale story than a 3 map in a row and Dweezil getting 3 back-to-back Comic-Cons, and Blaze not being able to post his second Comic-Con, and the best team in the country falling to Dynamic, who wasn't even in the conversation for top 2. But it's Nuke, it's Dynamic, it's ATK, it's the VS Gaming Masters Season 5 Grand Final, 100k on the line, and it's going to be a fast A hit to start us off.
Looks like ATK want to try and force their way straight into this game. The Man tapping away finds one onto Doru, but he gets traded out as he hangs around for a bit long there. And off the back of that ATK, they're going to be forcing their way into the B bomb site. The response has already come through from Dweezil as he's rotated down from ramp, but unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to get in position in time, and Nexus not aware that Mistem's also crept forward in towards Secret. ATK already have everything going for them here in this pistol round. Slowly takes down Dweezil as well, so it's now just down to Diver and Heartbreak to somehow try and innovate a way into this bomb set. It just doesn't seem likely, although that's a nice start from Divo. The double tap from him does the damage, and now it's down to a 2 versus 2. Mistem and Fady left alone here to try and clutch this one up. Mistem is baiting for Fady. They've now spotted out Fady's position. Heartbreak's taking Mistem down. Oh my god, it's a 2 versus 4, Nick. Or was it a 2v5? Regardless, it doesn't know it was a 2v4, but still, ATK, they dropped the ball. That's such a big round for them to lose, Nick.
Everything was going there for ATK. They had the bomb planted, like the rotates were still coming in. They got the opening frags. Mistem was even able to catch the rotate. But ultimately, Dynamic, they're just going to win out the gunfights, and the post plants for ATK weren't really on point considering the bomb was planted for decon. But I like this buy when you have a couple players purchasing up deagles. Okay, Fady maybe being on the AK, no armor is a bit questionable. Maybe he wants to get that AK drop to... Oh, well, there's one player on no armor regardless with an AK. But I was about to say, I like this buy, you know. You get players that buy armor and drop over deagles, and the players that just have deagles at the end of the round, they just only bought up AKs. But they did get the bomb plants in the previous, so there are a couple rifles to work around. 2 players with armor, one of them only having a Tech 9, but it's going to be an outside play, and Slowy, he's going to open up the rounder towards Nexus. Nexus didn't have the greatest game last, but it's Nuke, it's a different map, and he's going to try fight it back. Divo is going to pull things back into Dynamic's favor and make it a 4v4. The Man, he's behind the smoke. Heartbreak catches Mistem. Fady catches one in the meantime, but the Man's going to take out Doru, and now it's 2 players that are armorless as Blaze chimes in for one of his own. Heartbreak is coming in late through heaven, and he could catch Fady in transition, but the question is, Fady is down the vent. He's creeping and he's crawled, but the question is, the bomb is outside, and can Blaze cross safely? And looks like he's going to be able to. There's no one home.
But what are they doing? Because it looks like Fady is not content with just staying down B. No, now the call has come through that they're going to be committing to this B bomb site. So all of a sudden, Nick, this round has swung from being heavily in DNMK's favor to actually going back to 50-50. Yes, there's only around 74 points of health or 75 points of health between the 2 remaining ATK players, but they've got full control of the B bomb site. They're going to be planting for free and getting to post plant positions of their choice. Fady also very forward towards ramp, could be catching Heartbreak off guard if the timing works out in his favor, and it absolutely does. He takes Heartbreak's head clean off, and all of a sudden it's Dweezil left in the 1v2. He had some good touches on Inferno. Can he replicate that here on Nuke? Molly does come through, and it's going to be flushing Blaze out, but it doesn't make a difference because Fady was in position to trade it out immediately. Really great spacing and decision making there, and ATK, they had the perfect read.
They definitely had the perfect read. A bit of an iffy buy, but there was 2 players with AKs with no armor in the end of that round, but Fady didn't need armor. He got 3 in that one, and the ball was dropped the previous, and they pick it right back up to ATK. 1-1 is the score, and DNMK, they're going to fully invest into this round now as ATK, they've got everything they want. They've actually got the MP7 on Doru and missed him. He's got the Mac 10 trying to get something done towards outside. He spotted Heartbreak, and he's going to take him out in the round. And he's going to carry on trying to push the issue as they're still going to hold for this lobby crunch to come in. Blaze catches the man, and Dweezil's on the other side of the smoke, but Divo, he's in close vicinity, and he's going to take down Slowy. So now that's the bomb dropped, and that's arm on the back of Diver. You can still get something done, but Mr. catches Nexus looking the wrong way, and now it's Diver, the last player alive, that almost had an avenue for DNMK into winning this round, but now it's a 1v4.
Yeah, practically unwinnable for Divo, who was a great performer on Inferno, right? He was hitting some great shots, he was putting up some good numbers, and he's certainly one of those players who DNMK are going to be looking to top the scoreboard in the series against ATK. He's one of those players, Nick, that just doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care who he's playing against. He doesn't care who he's clutching against. He knows what he's capable of, and he just plays within himself, and he's really a fantastic player. I have a lot of respect for Divo, and thank you for living up to my praises, Divo, as you just land a fantastic dig there onto Doru. Getting much more done, not going to be a really capable, or is he, as he finds Mistim as well. It's pretty much economic damage at this point, though. Obviously, he's not going to be committing to the clutch. It was a full force from DNMK as well, so the fact that he can save a Mac 10, that's a little consolation. Right?
Yeah, it is a little bit of one, considering you're going to be completely saving into the next, so you haven't really got much to work around, so he can get something done with that AK. I mean, what am I saying, the Mac 10 and the Deagle. He can maybe drop that Deagle over to a teammate of his that doesn't have to buy up armor. Heartbreak, he's going to, I assume, keep some extra money in the bank for that AWP to be purchased up, because that is going to be something to keep in mind, that AWP battle on a map like Nuke, where you're going to train that AWP on the CT side. Is it going to be holding towards ramp? Is it going to be outside? Is it going to be heaven? Etc, etc. There's many different ways in which you can activate the AWP on this map, but the outside smokes are going to come out. The deep L smokes from the side of ATK. They know they're facing a pistol, and missed him. He's got an AK out. Oh, he's got an AK outside. He catches 1 pushing the smoke. He catches 2 on the spray. He almost cleans up the 3rd, but the man, he's going to save up for that AK, and Fady, he's just going to run out and take the armor off of Divo's back and take his head off. Yeah.
It is just the full eco for DNMK.
He's going to push the smoke. Classic Fady.
In the anti-eco. Classic Fady.
Classic Fady, yeah.
Now it's just a 1v3 for Dweezil again. He desperately wants to pick up that AK, but his arms just aren't long enough. Oh, no, still
Weasel
not.
doesn't have long arms.
Still not. And he is going to be able to get it, and he gets out alive. Everybody cheering. Woohoo! Dweezil gets the AK. Will he be able to keep it, though?
He's not going to survive.
They're hunting him down. Weasel meat for dinner.
Exactly.
ATK
Weasel, slowy. Easy peasy.
3-1 ATK going up after losing that pistol round, Nick, and after they had that fantastic 2 versus 2 playing out in that second round forced by. They've looked solid since then. However, a few frags have been coming through for DNMK in their eco rounds and their force buys, so they haven't let ATK's economy spiral out of control just yet. But heading into this full gun round, it's going to be setting the tone, right? If DNMK go down here, we're probably going to be seeing ATK running away with the half. Whereas if DNMK can make a stand right here and shut down ATK, they're going to be giving themselves the belief that they can be competitive here on Nuke.
Definitely, that is something to keep in mind. But missed him. He's creepy crawling towards the other side of the smoke. He's going to entertain Heartbreak, and that's a free kill for Heartbreak. He's going to take those every day of the week. Missed him, just going to try a bit of a play, but nothing comes to avail. Dweezil is going to try and make a play by the end of the molly over towards ramp, but it is going to be ramp control that's going to go ATK's way, and they're going to try and push the issue over towards control room as the man is going to be welcoming them. But a good double peek could come in, and it's actually just Slowy that single peeks and takes down the man. So it is going to be a 4v3 post plant, but Heartbreak, he's going to actually spam Dory through the smoke. But the bomb has been planted, so it's going to be a 3v3 post plant.
Well, Diver also picks one, and that allows Nexus to activate coming through from ramp. He finds his first frag off the map. It leaves Blaze in a 1 versus 3. Surely this is unwinnable, Nick. He's already been brought down to fairly low health. Yes, he knows where the 2 players are. He's taking down Diver as well. Oh my god, Blaze, you can't win this clutch. There's no ways you can do this. And Heartbreak, he does bring calm back to the situation as he closes out the 1v1. What was a 3v1. Got ever so close. And ATK aren't able to secure the gun round, but they do find a bomb plant and 4 frags, so they certainly do keep DNMK honest here, Nick.
They definitely do, and you can see how they've been keeping honest with Divo. Divo and Dweezil, they're below 4K at the start of this round, so if they do choose to take the M4s, whether they can, they will be submitting that belt of utility that we all know and love. But ATK, the money for their side is looking pretty good. Blaze has been the only person that hasn't actually purchased up head armor, so you can get the AK out this round. But you are going to see what ATK can get done. A typically CT-sided map. If you're T's and you get 6 rounds, you're looking pretty happy. But Fady, he's got the first one towards Heartbreak. The man comes in with the trade. And it is going to be a 4v4 into the early 6th round, rather.
But look at how much damage has been done to both of the teams, both Slowy and Doru. They're very low right now, and I was going to say Nexus is as well, but he's not just low, he's now dead. And off the back of that, ATK could try and surge their way onto this big bomb site, but they're going to be thinking better of that now that Dweezil's already shown his hand and mollied them off. And there's also been a rotation from the man towards ramp. There's so much time left on the clock here, Nick. ATK could be considering their alternative options and perhaps go back up the secret stairs and shift their way onto the A bomb side. I'd really like to see that coming out of them. Well, it seems like they're going to decide to rather just sit and wait, bide their time, and then sow that seed of doubt into the CT's mind so that they start getting aggressive, they start making moves, and this is where ATK can punish them. Blaze is already in position to shut down Dweezil as he comes around the corner. He takes him down, doesn't anticipate the second, but it doesn't matter as Doru does.
That's exactly what happens when you have all the control in the world. They've actually spotted out Divo now, so there shouldn't really be a way in which Divo wins this round. Yes, he gets the one, but Slowy comes in with the trade, and that's what happens. Yes, you've got all the map control, and if you're ATK, you just hit the brakes. And as soon as you hit the brakes, Dynamic, they start to doubt. Are they still down secret? Are they still going to look to hit B? So that's why they're going to push control room and double doors. Both the players, it's not a bad play looking for info like that, but the fact is that ATK were ready for it. Blaze and Mister, Blaze and Doru rather, they were perched up. They get 2 free kills pretty much with like pretty much no repercussions. Divo left in 1v4. He only got 1, and ATK, they're looking good. They've already posted 4, and Dynamic, they're staring an eco and a double one at that.
So Nick, just while we got a little bit more time here in the timeout and then freeze time, look at the right hand side of our screens. Mirage, it's the 3rd map. DNMK, they could have picked Vertigo. I'm still perplexed. Why did they not pick Vertigo in the 3rd map of the series? When you're the underdog in a BO5, you want to be playing on your favorite maps as early as you can, and I would say Inferno, Nuke, Vertigo. Those are the 3 maps that DNMK are the best on. And I'm still just questioning this decision. We'll have to watch. When they win Mirage, they're going to be like, hey, that's why we picked Mirage. But I just don't have faith right now. I don't have belief. I think that ATK are far superior on Mirage. And I think we're going to be seeing a 3-0 now, especially considering how Nuke has started. This is going to be tough for DNMK, man.
It's the same in like a penalty shootout for football. Like, you have your best penalty takers first. You don't often have like Cristiano Ronaldo taking your 5th penalty. Like, you don't, sometimes you don't even get to the 5th penalty if your first penalty don't go great. So the fact is that if you're Dynamic, you want to be playing your best maps, as you said, as early as possible. So they picked Inferno, which I don't have a problem with, considering ATK banned their dust, which after we saw yesterday, Dynamic clearly seem sound enough on that map. So ATK banned dust, Dynamic, they pick Inferno, which you think perfectly fine. You know, you'd think that would be the case, and then the next pick you'd think would come out from them would be Vertigo, but that wasn't the case. It's like, why are you picking Mirage coming into this? But be there as it may, we're watching Nuke in the next map. We will see is Mirage, but the question is, will we even see Vertigo? As you said, I also believe that we're probably going to be on the end of a 3-0 here, considering the fact that we may not even get to Vertigo because of how sound a team ATK are on Mirage. Like, they literally wiped the floor with Goliath on Mirage. And
out of all teams, right? Like, Goliath are already stacked with individual skill, which is where most teams are successful on Mirage. When they've got those individuals, they've got all the firepower. So it does spell a bit of a grim picture. Maybe DNMK knows something we don't, Nick, so we're going to have to wait and find out and see what they've got in store for that map. We will definitely be seeing Mirage regardless of what transpires here on Nuke, as it is 5-2, and we head into another gun round here. A FAMAS for Nexus, no AWP for that outside area, no kits on any of the 5 players, and this is the full gun round for DNMK. Tough draw right now for them, man.
But you know, as the old Joburg proverb goes...
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to hold your thoughts there, Nick, because Blaze, he's muted us. He wants to show us some fancy footwork.
As the old Joburg proverb goes, bro, it says, if you don't buy kits, bro, just don't let them get the bomb down, huh?
Oh, it's that easy.
Yes, bro.
Why do we ever buy kits then,
Why
Nick?
do we ever buy kits, bro? Why don't we just go joining? Why don't we just go take the 5v5
16-0 and then Joel afterwards? They're taking the Joel towards the B-bomb side right now. The man is dancing with 2 frags. And it's just Nexus left now in the 1 versus 2. They know whereabouts he is. He's already found a kill, and he trades up for the AK as well. Fady, there we go. Managed to eventually pick the bomb up, and it seems like he's going to be going towards the A bomb site. But Nexus has made the read here, Nick. He's also repositioning himself, and he's got enough time to wrap all the way towards mouth here. I don't think ATK are going to be anticipating this either. Although, as I say, that Fady, he drops the smoke and he's not getting caught up by anything. But that smoke's way too deep, isn't it? And Fady's going to get spotted here. So Nexus takes him down. Yeah, he takes quite a bit of damage in the process. Only 19 health left. But he has no idea where Mistim is. And Mistim is just sitting and waiting. Very passive right now. He's got the angle as well. Nexus just waltzes across his screen. It's an easy frag. 6-2. And the gun round, unfortunately, does not yield the success they so desperately needed.
Exactly. That's exactly what they needed. They needed the first gun round to be on the board, as you said. They desperately needed that to be the case. But Dynamic, they're still looking at 2 at the top of their screens. ATK, they've got 6 of their own, which is what we expected when we came into this Nuke game. There isn't really a way in which ATK, I don't think anyone thinks that ATK is going to lose this map, considering it is possibly, arguably their best map. And if you think about the best team in the country and their best map, it's definitely scary opposition. But but they're just going to hightail it towards the outside site. They're going to throw in the fast outside smokes and dip down towards Secret. The man, he's wondering where everyone's gone, you know, he's just chilling. He's like the guy that's been left late at the jaw, bro.
Yeah, he's going to be able to find a frag down to Fady, who was just lurking around lobby by himself. So it brings it back to a 3v3 and means that DNMK do have a couple rifles. Armor on Divo as well. I don't know how much they can really get done here still, though. No kits, not much utility, and they know where they are, but the man's able to find one. However, Doru doubles up and takes down both Nexus and Divo. And surely with that has all but secured the round. The man, he's going to be tapping the bomb here, trying to force out a couple peeks here from these remaining T players. Blaze has taken the attention as well, so as soon as Doru opens up the door, he should be finding the frag. Although Blaze, he could also pick it up if he so chooses, and that's going to be the case. 7-2 ATK. They're starting to run away with it here on Nuke, Nick.
I just want to mention that double door setup that ATK played that round with Doru and Blaze. It's so powerful because if you have control as a post plant, it's extremely difficult to retake the B bomb site on a map like Nuke. So when you play in that double door setup with one person in the double doors and one person outside of it, as soon as you start getting contact, you swing open their double doors. They're obviously going to look towards the double doors, so the player towards control. He swings out, then they look to him. Then the guy by double door swings out, and it's a great double peek that can come to fruition. But Divo, he doesn't care about any door. He's trained on that one towards single door, and the man, he's going to respond with a nade of his own. Fady, he's going to take a brunt of that damage, but they're just going to come out the hut. No door needed there. It's already open as Blaze, he's going to open the round. Missed him, and Fady going to help him out. And this is just great spacing coming out from ATK. They're not doing anything fancy. They're just dropping the outside smokes. They're hitting the A site, and it's working to full effect.
Yeah, changing the pace up as well, right? Just getting super aggressive into the A bomb site this time round. And unfortunately for DNMK, Nick, it was the round that they invested into the double AWP setup. And they don't even have a chance to fire a shot with either of their AWPs. Finally, Heartbreak will find a kill, but it's just a consolidation frag of this, or rather a consolation frag, because it's not going to be changing the course of this round. He's being closed in on here as well. The fire is going to be forcing him out of position. He gets taken down by Fady, and no money left in the bank now for DNMK. They're going to have to eco. Things going from bad to worse right now as ATK are spiraling out of control on their T side. They've got enough money in the bank to buy up for the next 2 rounds, regardless of what happens. And they're looking really good right now, our ATK.
It's exactly what we expected. I mean, ATK on Nuke, if you want to learn something, South African scene, watch ATK demos. Exactly. Yeah, like, they're putting on a masterclass for us right now. Dynamic, it's not like they're scrubs. It's not like they shouldn't be here. They took down the likes of Sinister 5 and Goliath to get here. They've fought through the whole tournament. 7 months of hard work and preparation has come to this moment. But ATK, they're just a different beast all in there themselves. They're 8-2 to the good. And they're looking really, really good on this map, Nuke.
Yeah. It's not even like DNMK don't play Nuke, right?
Exactly,
It's one of their best maps, Nick. And it's just they seem to be getting steamrolled right now by ATK, who are just looking so clinical. And that's been a feature of ATK's game over the past few months. They don't care who they're playing against. They don't care what the names are on the server. They play their game and they stick to their game. They've got that BMT. They've got that discipline regardless of who they're playing against. And it's just what that means is when they come into these big matches, they have that play style set. It's not like now they're starting to play a foreign structure because it's such an important game. It's like, okay, now we need to be more disciplined. We need to play more passive. No, they're always approaching the game in the same manner. It doesn't matter if it's in an ESC game against a team who's from the 2nd division in the VS Gaming Masters, or if it's against Goliath Gaming or DNMK, one of the top teams in South Africa.
Sorry, I couldn't help but laugh. Blaze dropped his rifle because he died. So Fady and Doru both threw a rifle over.
So Fady just has a Glock now.
Yeah, but Fady with a Glock, bro.
I mean,
it's not as potent,
right?
But...
Okay, well there's another pistol for him. Seems like Mistom's going to be ending the round fairly shortly anyway, unless Heartbreak can make some sort of shenanigans happen. Another nice quick shot there onto Fady will be leading to him being taken down, and the man, he's also got a frag onto Slowy, and he's going to land the shot on Doru. Okay, DNMK, I see you. That's an eco round that they just won, Nick. And ATK, I was just saying how well disciplined they are. Make a mistake.
And I was about to go follow on with that. It goes along with their slogan, which is play seriously, right? So you have to give 100% kudos to them. Even though Dynamic win that round, it's still you're 8-3 down on the CTE side of Nuke, so you're really going to have a tough time. Like, yes, they can still bring it back. That double AWP setup is coming out once again. Heartbreak, he's going to be posted over towards single door, and he's actually going to be able to catch Fady out. So that's going to be one of the first opening picks we've seen Dynamic get so far this map at Blaze. He's just going to be walking towards outside, and Molly towards Secret will allow him to cross as fast as possible, but there's no smokes to aid that to be the case. They've already faded. Actually, they haven't been thrown out, sorry. The mouth smoke has been coming in, but Nexus is in a pretty good position. The flash doesn't go shallow enough. It actually goes too deep, so missed him. He gets shot by a full vision of Nexus as the split is going to try come in. The man takes out Slowy. Blaze finally gets something on the board for ATK. But Dynamic, they have a resolute defense coming into this next round.
Yeah, they're sitting in good positions right now. They've got full control of both of the bomb sites, and they kind of have an idea as to where ATK are right now. It's on Doru and Blaze to try and get this round across the line for ATK. Doru will take down the man, so that gives him a bit of extra space to work with now as Dweezil repositions towards his A bomb site. That means that the B bomb site is up for the taking right now, Nick, and it seems like ATK have immediately realized the proposition that is in front of them. As they both immediately rotate down into Secret, they're in this B bomb site. All of a sudden, a 2 versus 3, which was looking so dire for ATK, has turned into a winnable situation. They should be securing the bomb plants at the bare minimum here. They are just taking their time to entirely clear out this bomb site, and those extra few seconds certainly means that DNMK are in position to make the retake happen. Divo looking to try and take down the planter, and he will find the frag on Doru, and he swings wide and finds Blaze as well.
8-4 is the score in ATK. They're going to have to eco into the next round, and it's kind of weird to think that that buy round that they lost pretty much was because Fady didn't have a rifle, and that was a bit of a misplay, but be there as it may, there's still 4 rounds to the good, so it's not panic stations just yet for ATK. We know what they're capable of. We know that they're going to take everything slowly. They're not going to get ahead of themselves, so they've just purchased up some pistols, and it does look like it is going to be a faster round play, so Dweezil's going to be the one entertained. The 3 back-to-back Comic-Con winner, but he forgets to press mouse 1, so Divo, he's rotated in to help him out. Dweezil's good for one of his own onto Slowy as Divo trades with one onto Fady. Blaze takes Dweezil down. He's almost good for another onto Heartbreak, that being Doru. The man rotates in. He should take out Mistom, even though it's not as clean as you would have liked, but now it's Blaze left in 1v4. AWP in hand, can't get anything done. And the double AWP is going to be retrieved once more. 8-5.
8-5 indeed, starting to look a little bit better here for DNMK on their CT side as they string a couple rounds together. That's their 3rd consecutive round now. And they're actually in a position where the 8-7 halftime scoreline is a realistic prospect. If they can win this gun round, there's no money left in the bank for ATK. Yes, they will have the full round loss bonus behind them, so if they can find a plant, they'll be able to buy up regardless, but certainly going to be giving DNMK a bit more confidence and momentum heading into the rest of the series. What do ATK do to try and get back to winning ways? Yeah, I'm loving the way that Heartbreak is approaching this AWP on the CT side. He gets 2 picks and he goes for the repeat, the 3rd, perhaps ill-advised as he does get taken down by Slowy. The man, though, in a position to potentially trade it. They know where he is. Fady's also been able to work his way out of Squeaky, but the timing is going to be there for the man. He got the pre-fire under wraps, and he has taken down Fady, so that re-secures that 2-man advantage for DNMK. Look at Mistim's position, though. He's been able to get himself into the B bomb side. I'm not sure if DNMK are aware of this, but it doesn't make a difference as Divo takes down Slowy. I don't think Slowy should have been looking to take any fights there. Needed to just sit back and passively wait and give Mistim some time to maybe make something happen. But DNMK, Nick, breathing life back into this game.
Definitely. They were 8-2 down. And I don't see a way in which this round should go 8-6, but we know what Mistim is capable of. The bomb has been dropped and it is in control of Dynamic. Nexus, he has this mouth flank to come out, so he's going to have a free kill on towards Mistim. And 8-6 is the score, and Dynamic, they've posted 4 in a row. And as you said, ATK, yes, they have full loss bonus, but they're not going to have enough to buy into this round.
Yeah,
so
didn't get the plant.
Didn't get the bomb plant, so Dynamic, they're looking at an 8-7 half, and even though you find yourself down 8-7 on the CT side of Nuke, you got to have some sort of positives out that, considering you were 8-2 down and you were looking at a much worse reading scoreline. So it is going to be 8-6, as it does look like it is going to be a fast A hit coming out from the boys in red against the boys in blue. That is already Slowy, who's dropped down the vent. He has taken a bit of damage while he's been tasked with doing so, but he's already down by control room, as the other 4 ATK players have grouped up towards outside.
Yeah, the man is playing in a position that Nexus has actually played in for a number of rounds throughout this half, and Heartbreak's going to get caught in transition by Fady. That's a big frag, but do they account for the man to be in the back of Garage? Doru's going to TK Mistim, and the man takes down Blaze, so in the end it's going to be a 3 versus 3. Fady waiting for somebody to come through from hell. He knows as soon as he breaks that window, the information's going to be there for the opposition. So he can't continue to take the fight, but it's DNMK who still find themselves in a bit of an awkward position, and Slowy's being very aggressive in his pursuit of Dweezil, so that gives the audio cues away. Dweezil's able to reposition in time. Could potentially be a 7-8 half here in favor of ATK, but DNMK would be feeling really good about themselves if they could find that 7th round. Bomb plant will be coming through for ATK. It's Doru and Fady tasked with getting this one across the line, but Fady gets taken down. Now it's on Doru in the clutch. He finds the first, takes down Dweezil towards heaven. No, he can't complete that kill, and that was the all-important spray he needed to find. Maybe then he would have stood a chance in the clutch, but he goes down, and it will be that 7-8 halftime scoreline. That was, what, 5 consecutive round wins by DNMK?
That was so unlucky from Doru. Like, he thought he got the frag onto Dweezil. I mean, heck, you thought he got the frag onto Dweezil. That's how decent the spray actually looked. But ultimately, Dweezil, he's still alive and kicking at about 20 points of health, was able to finish out with the 5-7. He dropped down, took a little extra, defused the bomb, and ATK, they finish off the half 8-7. Considering they were 8-2 up, Dynamic, they have to take positives from the first. Like, yes, you're on the T side. You are still going to have a rough time on this map. I still don't see a way in which you're going to win it. But, I mean, 8-7 is a lot better reading than a halftime score of, like, 13-2. So,
absolutely. A far better reading. In fact, I think that DNMK are going to be feeling better out of the two teams right now, considering that run of 5 consecutive round wins. They're certainly going to be having some confidence heading into this T side. And that confidence would skyrocket if they can pick up the pistol round here on this T side. That would really allow them to sink their teeth into this T half. Divo popping off. He's 16-10 right now. The man 15-12. So it's those two names that we always talk about when you look at the DNMK, who are doing majority of their heavy hitting right now for Dynamic. Let me get a quick look at the score. Fady, top of the score for ATK. Blaze not too far behind. Slowy also in the middle ground, but Doru and Mistim lagging behind slightly, as are Dweezil and Nexus. And then we get to see the alternative stats, headshot percentage, the ADR, effective flashes. There's Mistim with 15. Of course, the T side is where you find majority of your flashes when you're getting aggressive. Useful damage, also decent for the T side. DNMK getting some useful damage in that previous half. But this pistol round, the all-important round, Nick.
Yeah, unfortunately, the man, he's left us for a little bit. I assume he'll be back in a short amount of time. But yeah, 8-7 is the score, and considering Dynamic were 8-2 down, who were able to string 5 late rounds and a half in a row, they looking at an 8-7 scoreline, which is looking a lot better for the side of Dynamic. If they post the pistol, you're looking to take the lead once more from ATK. That'll be the first time in a long time that's been the case. Ever since the pistol, that was the only time they had the lead. So that's something to keep in mind. ATK, they've already won 1 pistol so far. I mean, rather Dynamic, they've already won the pistol of this map so far. If you think back to all the way then, that was a 2v4 that Dynamic won out. So if you think about the scoreline, it should actually be a lot different considering the rounds that ATK have actually thrown away in that regard. So Dynamic, they're definitely looking better off coming into the second half. As you said, 5 rounds in a row. The momentum is with you, but it is a second half. It is a different beast. It is the CT side of Nuke that you're going to be battling against if you're Dynamic. So there's going to be a tough time for Heartbreak and the boys to post up a decent scoreline.
Bit of a tech issue here for the man as he tries to reconnect to the server. As soon as he does, we'll be straight back into this one. So if you're just joining us now, welcome guys. This is the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5 Comic-Con Online Finals. We're already into the second map, as you can see on the right-hand sides of your screen. The previous map, which was Inferno, went the way of ATK. They won that 16-12. They were up ahead. For majority of that map were ATK. It did get a bit close at one stage, but still in the end, ATK got across the line. They looked really convincing here on Nuke, but DNMK, they fought their way back to a respectable 8-7 scoreline and giving themselves a chance in this map here, Nick.
Yeah, definitely. Even though they do find themselves 8-7 down, Dynamic ATK to the better off of that 8-7 scoreline, it is still going to be a very tough opposition for Dynamic to have some sort of comeback in this map. Obviously, Nuke, we talk about how CT-sided it is. It's sort of like you can go down 11-4 on the T side and still surmount some sort of a comeback. So ATK, yes, they're 8-7 to the good, but to think that they were 8-2 up at one stage and then they threw a couple rounds, including the pistol that we saw all the way back to the start, to the first round of the game. ATK, they've been looking good, don't get me wrong, but they've been making round-losing decisions in some sort of regards. Like you think about that round where missed him at the flank over towards B, and then Slowy, he was waiting in lobby, and then he just tried to take a fight over towards Heaven. That's one round that was sort of like, if Slowy just sits back, lets Miston do his thing, maybe they have a way in to win that. But it's all ifs and buts at this stage of the tournament, and you're in the grand final, so you can't be making round-losing mistakes like that. And you're definitely going to be punished, and that's what Dynamic have been doing to good effect. It's 8-7. You were 8-2, and they've made good effect to ATK's mistakes and posted a decent halftime score.
They absolutely have. Not only that, but DNMK have proven that they have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with ATK, right? They were down 8-2 at one stage, and it was looking like it could be a very quick second map, but DNMK, once they started to find their footing on their CT side, were able to get some work done. So they certainly are still in this game right now. As we've mentioned a couple times, though, we're going to be heading to Mirage next as our third map in the series, and that doesn't look very good for DNMK. So it is really important they get across the line here on on Nuke to keep themselves in the hunt of this grand final.
Yeah, definitely. But we always talk about Dynamic and Goliath and ATK, that their T sides are really what they pride themselves in, and we spoke about this on the desk before, that Dynamic, it's not like they don't play Nuke themselves. So that's something to keep in mind, that running into the second half, yes, you're playing ATK, yes, it's arguably the best map, yes, they're the best team in the country, but you're pretty sound on the map yourself. So if you're Dynamic, you're Dweezil, you're backing yourself, you're backing the boys. Maybe Nexus has got some strats in the book that we don't know about, that they haven't been showing in previous encounters. So Dynamic, they definitely sound on a map like Nuke. They can definitely do something. They can definitely hurt ATK. Maybe we see a closer encounter than what we initially thought. Like definitely we saw A2, we thought, oh, it's probably going to be a quick second map. We'll be looking forward to Mirage. That's why we were always talking about it. But now Dynamic, they're making it a lot more competitive, and they could make it even more competitive after this if the pistol run does go their way.
They certainly could, Nick, and we want this to be as competitive as it possibly can be. We want to go the full distance. We want the overtimes. We want the full 5 maps. We want to see these two teams battling it out tooth and nail, as it is the grand final here of the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5 Comic-Con Africa Online. It is the third iteration of the VS Gaming Masters in association with Comic-Con. The previous 2 times were won by the Energy organization. The first time it was their academy team in 2018. Then in 2019 it was their main team led by ADM, which also featured Blaze, it also featured Dweezil, it also featured the man, and Kani, of course, as well, was the player who completed that roster. But we still have a number of those players, albeit in different organizations, still featuring in this final once again and looking to secure another title of Comic-Con Africa.
Yeah, definitely. There's a wealth of experience in the server. I mean, you talk about the players that you just mentioned, Blaze, Dweezil. They've already had Comic-Con experience. I think the man as well, as you said. So, but we also got a man like Fady, he's been overseas. He's got North American experience. So there's definitely a wealth of experience among the 10 in the roster. You think about Mistim and other players in the server. They've been to India for some land. So so they know what they're in for. Like this is it's not just another tournament in that regard. Like yes, there's still 100k on the line, but they've gone through these sort of situations before. Yes, it's in the comfort of your own home. It's not actually at LAN, obviously due to the situation we're in. But all these players, they've been through this before. They've got the experience. They've got got the T-shirt, so all players who are going to have ice in their veins are going to be treating this just like another official.
Absolutely, they are. Tough ask for DNMK here. Tough ask here for DNMK, and they've had an even tougher ask because the man had some technical issues with his PC, so he's had to swap out his PC. Hopefully it won't be too long until he does reconnect to the server and we're able to get live underway with this game once again.
Yeah, that's unfortunate considering the PC's been provided by Dynamic. I assume it's just something that just hasn't gone his way. Maybe the CS just isn't working or something. He's just going to quickly swap it out to the one he had prior to when he joined the Dynamic organization. But I mean, Dynamic, they've gone on leaps and bounds when they started recently this year. Actually, I think it goes back to about March when they started. So it's been a very short period of time that they've started. They've really made a trademark on the South African scene, obviously picking up that old Omnius Gaming roster, made a couple of roster changes, bringing in Dweezil and Divo and the man, and then they've come on leaps and bounds. I mean, we're in the biggest comp of the year. The Dweezil, the Dynamic roster, the Dweezil roster hasn't even been together for that long, and they find themselves in the final of Comic-Con. Like that is nuts to think that's the case.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, they've certainly ebbed and flowed. They've had their ups and downs as a team, but they are looking way more consistent as of recent times and starting to perform at the level that everybody knew they were capable of, right? It was always that discussion mostly between them and Sinister 5, but they had that really convincing win against Sinister 5 a few days ago. Then they brought that fire against Goliath Gaming yesterday in that match that they won 2-1 after they lost the first map, Inferno 16-12, I think it was 16-12. They came back and reverse swept Goliath Gaming in that series and earned their position in this grand final, where they are going toe-to-toe with ATK right now. Lost the first map 16-12. They're currently down 8-7, so they're in a position where they can say we're absolutely still in the hunt here.
Yeah, definitely. And we've spoken about the names that we have on the Dynamic side. We speak about the people that they've got Comic-Cons underneath their name. Dweezil and the man, they know what sort of situation they're in. They've got the experience, everything. They're going to be ice cold. They know what they're going to be in for, and they definitely can turn this around. I mean, yes, it's 8-7. Yes, it's your opponent's map pick, but I mean, if you win the pistol round, you've got the momentum running into this 5 rounds prior to the halftime score. So it is going to be interesting to see if Dynamic and the boys, whether they can get the pistol round on lock and get the momentum building and take this fight to ATK.
Absolutely. Not much longer until we get back into the game here, guys. The man is currently resolving his technical issues and reconnecting back to the game, so we'll be underway again shortly. I want to talk a little bit more about this ATK team while we have the time. So when this ATK team was brought together, there were a few question marks from a number of people as to whether they were actually going to be a championship contender here in South Africa, let alone be capable of going across to America and being competitive on that side of the world. When they made this team, they brought in Mistim as the IGL. They picked up Doru from Big 5. Blaze came into the roster as well. And it's not like these are the most established players that you've ever heard of in South African CS. Yeah, Slowy was like, we knew that he was really, he had a lot of fragging prowess. And Fady, we know that he's also really solid, but he hadn't been playing for a while. So it was a bit of a gamble bringing these 5 together and saying, this is going to be our roster that we're taking overseas. And since they've come together and they've had a bit of time to work, they've had everything they've provided or everything they've needed provided by ATK, and they're looking really good now as these 5 have started to settle in together.
Yeah, definitely. The 5 themselves, it seemed to be a bit of a mismatch, picking and choosing from different orgs where they came from, but ultimately with the acquisition of Spray as well, the team have come on leaps and bounds. They've definitely performed in the South African scene. I mean, right now in Telkom Gaming VS Masters Season 5, they're 22-0. They haven't dropped a single map so far throughout the whole series, so they're looking really good. They've shown what they're capable of in the local scene, but obviously going overseas, it's a completely different beast. I mean, we saw it with the Bravado roster. They were wiping the floor with everyone here.
Yeah.
Then they went overseas, and then they got hidings. But, I mean, we seem to be back in the game as soon as possible. So,
there we are.
Let's jump back into it. It's the second half, and it's Mistim with the USP trying to open things up. And he is actually he's going to take down Nexus, but the man comes in with the trade on the new PC, albeit it is what it is. But Dweezil, he's holding for this lobby flank to come in. He's got Slowy, and he spotted out Blaze.
Yeah, and he's also got Doru on the A-bomb side. He's going to be able to take him down as well. DNMK with the lights-out pistol round here on the T side, starting things off fantastically. Dweezil's dinked down Blaze as well, and he will follow it up with the shots to close out that frag. DNMK continue their run here on Nuke as they've picked up a 6th consecutive round, and they're really going to be feeling it now, Nick.
They definitely are. After 5 rounds in the first half and the first round in the second half, things are really looking up for the side of DNMK. But if you're them, you got to forward off this force by, first of all, Mistim and Fady. They've got SMG. Slowy, he's got the scout, so that can be used to tag players down towards lower HP. But you got to win out this buy round, this force buy, rather, if you're DNMK. If you don't, it could be, you could be in rough circumstances. Divo, he's already tagged down that nade. It's probably going to dunk him. It does so. But there's a play over towards Squeaky Door, and he's holding this angle. Dory, he's going to press the issue, but Weasel's going to come out from his Weasel Hardy hole, and he'd get 2 of his own Heartbreak. But Blaze and Mistim, they've got 2 between them, and now it's Mistim left in 1v2. Low HP on Heartbreak. Could allow for an avenue in this round, but Heartbreak, he's just going to swing outside. Gotta admire the confidence.
Yeah.
And 9-8.
Who needs the bomb when you can just swing out and find the frag? DNMK avert disaster as Dweezil peeks out from his hidey hole, like you said, and he picks up that all-important double kill.
9-8 is the score, and ATK, they're going to have to full save into this round. Slowy, he's just purchased up a single flashbang, which means that all players are probably going to go towards outside. A well-placed flash could mean that you could catch a couple players with their pants down, but we'll see what happens as all 5 CTs over towards that side of the map. The man, he's got 2 free kills for his own endeavors. He's going to be on the route for the 3rd. He's going to take out Blaze. Nexus gets one into Slowy. And that's pretty much all she wrote. Fady's got a deagle in his hand, but I don't think he'll be able to get too much done. I mean, there's one, but Dweezil finishes it out.
He does indeed, and continues this run of form for DNMK as they pick up an 8th consecutive round. ATK yet to win a round in the past 8, Nick, as what I said previously infers. But I just felt like I had to make that point because of how ridiculous that sounds. Considering ATK were up 8-2 at one stage, this map has completely swung back into even keel. ATK, they do have the weapons up once again. Finally, they've got that AWP on Slowy. They've got rifles across the board. But if DNMK win this round, Nick, that's really going to be setting the tone for the rest of this half and give them the full belief that they have what it takes to get across the line here on Nuke.
Definitely, it is definitely going to be the case where the Dynamic do win this round, but it's all ifs and buts. We're going to have to see it come to fruition. Fady, he's already got 1, he's got a 2nd through the smoke. And Slowy, he's picked up 1 into the man, and Fady, he's actually sticking around, possibly overstaying his welcome, but eventually he gets the frag. Divo rather, gets the frag on towards Fady. So now it's a 1v4. Divo, he's hot washed by Blaze. Blaze says, listen, brah, here you go. There's an M4 bullet to the face. And finally, ATK post around after 8.
Yeah, been a long time coming for ATK. I think they're going to be breathing a sigh of relief after that one, Nick, and just saying, finally, we're able to get back to winning ways. But they have to string it together with a few more here. If they lose the round immediately after that, it's going to be straight back to square one. Whereas they can break the back of DNMK's economy right here, right now, if they win this round. It was a clean round for ATK as well, it must be said. They did look way more convincing. They kept 4 players alive as well. And it's going to be boding well for their economy, which they so desperately want to be getting into a strong position here.
The outside smokes are going to come out from Dynamic as well as a molly towards the secret position. But Slowy, he's still going to probe towards his outside position and catch the man trying to look for an aim door. Slowy will take those every day of the week. He's actually spotted out Heartbreak, which means Heartbreak could have bitten off more than he can chew, and that's exactly what Slowy's going to do. He's going to take Heartbreak out of the equation. Missed him. He's trained on this angle from Decon, and he's got a free kill on towards Nexus. He's dinked down, and he's going to retreat. Great play from Mistim. Get 1 and get out.
Yeah.
Now it's Divo and Dweezil left in a 2v5.
He recognizes how vital it is that he stays alive, Nick, because if Mistim goes down there, it gives DNMK free passage all the way onto this B bomb site. And eventually Mistim will actually be taken down. Divo doing the damage there. So that gives DNMK perhaps some sort of an avenue of entry into this round. The bomb has made its way down secret in towards B. Now Divo's just waiting for Dweezil to have some sort of an impact to give him some breathing room. Buying him time as much as he can. There's 34 seconds left on the clock. Dweezil working his way down the ramp in towards this B bomb site. This is doable for DNMK right now. Fady's been spotted out. Now he needs to reposition himself and pick and choose his battles. How does he make this work right now? Molly comes through to flush him out. Divo spraying him down as well. But somehow Fady's been able to stay alive. Eventually he will get taken down by Divo. And with only 13 seconds left, he's going to have to commit to the plant. But like I said, if they could secure that kill, all of a sudden the round is doable. It's a 2v3 as the bomb goes down.
The bomb is now completely planted for the ramp position. That's why both players have chosen to reposition over towards the double doors area. They're going to play together so they can trade off one another. Blaze, Slowy and Doe now tasked with the retake.
Yeah, this is so doable for DNMK all of a sudden, man. ATK was so scared of a player towards the ramp. They're going to be spotting out Dweezil's head, and Dweezil had to get something there because now it's on Divo. And as soon as he takes the first, they're going to know exactly where he is. Doru just swings wide as he comes out the smoke, and he eviscerates Divo. So a clean retake there from ATK, and I really respect their composure. They were so scared of that player towards the ramp as that smoke was fresh. They waited for the smoke, cleared it out systematically, made their way into the bomb site, started discussing exactly where those players could be in the post plants, isolated them, and took them down accordingly. DNMK now back to the pistols, 10-10, Nick.
10-10, and now ATK, it took a while for them to post their first couple rounds, but they've done so in good succession and keeping them relatively clean for the most part. Yes, they won 4. They had 4 players alive in the previous and 4 players alive in the round previous to the previous and 3 players in the previous, but Fadian missed him. They're going to chime in for a couple frags, but missed him. He's only good for 2, but it's just damage mitigation for the most part. And ATK, they keep their all-important 3 players alive, which means the economy is still going to be looking good into the next. But Dynamic, now is their buy round, and now is where they mean business.
Yeah, it is indeed. But this buy round is actually really important for DNMK, Nick, because if they lose this, it's going to be setting the tone heading into the next couple of rounds. This is their opportunity with the weapons once again to try and put a stop to ATK, level things out at 11-11, and try and chip away at that economy that ATK have mustered. But if you lose this as DNMK, it leaves you in a very challenging position heading into the rest of this half. It'll also be restoring that confidence to ATK that they can just surge on from here and close out the map. So DNMK, they have to make a statement right here, right now. What do they bring to the table in this all-important round? Got plenty util to work with. 2 players outside, 3 eventually going to be taking lobby control. It's a slow take, though. I'm hearing the text in chat, so I think we could be having a reset here.
That has me worried. Oh no.
But it hasn't been called. There's damage that's been done to Blaze, Nick. So I'm not sure if you can actually reset. Logistically speaking, damage has been done, but you can just see by the way that all the players are paused right now that...
Oh, they're going back to spawn.
There we go. Back to spawn they go. So we do have another technical issue here. I wonder if it's the man. Let's see. No, number 2 is moving around on the minimap, so it can't be him.
I think it's Slowy, because he's just chilling.
Yeah, so is Mist. Okay, there's Mistum. Could be Slowy. So the question is, like, because DNMK have done damage, they have the right to say, we don't want to reset the round, right?
Yeah, to my knowledge,
that's how it works.
Yeah,
like,
that's the case.
Yeah.
But
And you can't fault them for that. You can't say that, like, they're bad guys because they didn't reset the round. But they've gone all the way back to spawn, and there we go. The reset does come through. So we'll just be figuring out exactly what's going on. And I've already got word that they're live once again next, so it's not going to be too long of a technical issue before we do get back into this round, 11-10. And the teams are just going to have a bit of extra time here to discuss exactly how they want to be approaching this round.
I think maybe the ATK players could have timed out. All of them being in the same, all of them timed out at one stage. But even then, I don't know. That's just spitballing. But anyway, the round was reset, so... As you said, Dynamic, being as sportsmanlike as they are, got to respect it. Even though they did do damage, still, they agreed on the round restart. So that comes out from both teams. 100% respect to Dynamics. The exact same guns are going to be dropped. Exact same conditions are going to be met.
Yeah.
But imagine now this round, then slowly just goes, this peak squeaky door again, and there's like 3 people there to get like a triple collage.
Yeah,
you know?
well, that's
That'll
how
be
it
nuts.
works. You can't say anything about it.
It's its own entity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So round 22.
That is the notion, that is the narrative, that is how Counter-Strike works. All-important gun round here for both of these teams. Look at Fady, he's already pushing on the other side of the fire there, perhaps wants to get aggressive towards ramp. It is a play that he makes quite frequently on the CT side of Nuke. In the meanwhile, Slowy's also dropped down. He's all the way in secret, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he is. Down the vent he goes. He wants to try and pop up outside and perhaps catch somebody off guard. In the meanwhile, Mistum's trying to buy time, but DNMK, they're having none of it. They're pincering onto the safe bomb site, but they get caught off guard. Mistum finds 2 kills. Somehow he's able to get another before he goes down there. I thought he was dead to all rights, but Dweezil is now left in the 1 versus 3, and they also have an idea of where he is. That molly, though, that's very awkward because Mistum's mollied out his 2 teammates. And Dweezil, he could catch Slowy off guard here. He just continues to hold the angle. Slowy's going to offer himself up on a silver platter. Now it's turned into a 1 versus 2 for Dweezil. The world is his oyster. Although the problem is that the oyster's without its pearl. As that bomb is still in the bomb site right now. And yes, I know clams make pearls, but come on, just work with me here, guys.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. But Mr. He's trained on the angle. So the question is, does Dweezil check this? He does, but Mr. wins out the gunfight. But even then, like, it's a 1v4. All Dweezil wants is 1v1s, and Slowy just gave him the avenue into winning that round. So
I know.
I mean, if Dweezil wins out that 1v2, yes, we would have been singing his praise, but we would have gone back to that aggression from Slowy. Was it really needed? Be there as it may. Missed him. He wins out that gunfight. He wins out the round for ATK. And now it's 12-10, and we were talking about the weight that buy round had, not only for Dynamics economy, but also for ATKs. If that round was going to be as clean as possible, they would have been looking really good. But Slowy, he's going to have to reinvest the AWP, at least get it dropped over. Mistum's already dropped down. They're going to be rushing this B bomb site. Mistum's good for one. He's going to stick around and get the second and actually drop the bomb. They almost get the third. Mistum is showing up on the main stage. He's actually going to turn around and get the fourth. Mistum, he's on for the RGL for ATK, doing it all. Dweezil left, the Weasel takes down Mistum, and Doru's going to clean it up. But ultimately, a massive round coming out from Mistum. Yes, it was against the eco or the partial buy, but those are four big ego frags. Those are four big ego frags.
Nick, we need to
coin that. Trademark it.
Yeah, that was a nice combination. I mean, it was mostly your phrase. I'll give it to you, but I was on the desk at the same time, so I'm going to take some rights for it as well.
It's 50-50.
Full gun round here once again as the scoreline is 13-10. It's been a while since DNMK tasted success. 5 consecutive rounds here for ATK, and it looks like they found their mojo once again. Look at Blaze just surging forward. It seems like they want a lobby crunch, and no, it's not an eco round. ATK just going back to basics, looking to try and deal that killing blow to their opposition. And as a result, DNMK, they realize they need to get the burners on. They need to make something happen. But Mistum's been bypassed. They haven't countered his positioning right now. And he's going to line them up. Beautiful headshots from him as he just holds down mouse button 1. And he gets another multi-kill in the round. That's 24 kills for the IGL.
We were speaking about Mistum on Inferno, saying, you know, he's already the player to frag. He's always throwing flashes for his teammates. And then he top frags. And this map, he's top fragging again.
Yeah.
Mistum having an absolute lights-out performance, carrying ATK pretty much on his back. Fady showing up, yes, 23 and 18. But the other players, yes, they're doing their job. Doru's lagging a bit behind, but Mistum and Fady, they're carrying the mantle for ATK. They find themselves 4 rounds to the good. Dynamic, they've called out a timeout of their own. They're going to invest into this round. It looks like the man, he's already purchased everything up that he needs. But it does look like ATK, they're running away with it. I mean, they were 8-2 up, then they went 8-7, then they lost another 2 rounds. But they haven't looked back since. They've posted 4 rounds and they've been convincing. For the most part. Besides that Dweezil 1v3, which is a bit iffy, but then,
no, you're right.
They got better.
ATK have certainly looked convincing in these consecutive rounds that they've won. Even in the rounds that have gotten close, they've still always just been ahead, right? So now it's reaching that do or die stage for DNMK. Can they do what it takes? Or are we going into Mirage with ATK ahead 2-0? Couple Galils and AKs to try and get across the line here for DNMK, but it just doesn't look promising.
6 smoke.
Yeah, no, that's the bait to get them to peak squeaky bro. Don't you know, Slowy? He's just able to land a lightning fast shot there, albeit a leg shot, still doing the damage. The man rears his head up on Silo, and his head gets popped like a pimple. Missed him, that's disgusting.
Talk about my one-taps. Missed him doing his best scream impression. Slowy's going to flash for another peek towards outside. He's going to be trained on the angle. The smokes haven't come in as of yet, but they are going to rain in now. Missed him. He's going to try his best for a round 2. As a garage smoke that's gone a bit deeper than expected. Missed him. He can peer around us, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to get all the info that no one's wrapping over towards mouth, but that's the bomb that's been dropped. He's going to money to try to deny the trade, but Diver rather, they're going to push ahead of it. Slowy going to get the trade. And now it's Nexus on 2 HP with Dweezil trying to wrestle this round back in a 2v4, but the bomb's been dropped in the open. Slowy has repositioned, but Dweezil knows. He knows.
Yeah, I mean...
Dweezil the Weasel.
That's suspect, Slowy. I'm not sure about that one, bro. That's a bit of an untoward position you just found yourself in. So it's a 3 versus 2 here. Nexus, he only has 2 points of health to his name. Along with Dweezil, they have to get this one across the line for DNMK to keep themselves in the hunt here on Nuke, and Dweezil's been taken down. And Nexus has been removed as well. I was going to say that he has one more opponent than points of health he has to his name to try and get the job done, but it's not going to happen. 15-10 here on Nuke. ATK 1 round away from securing themselves that 2-0 lead heading into the 3rd and final map.
Definitely, and that round it seemed like the bomb was a curse. Everyone who picked it up just got fragged. So we're going to see what happens. Dynamic, however, they've called a tactical timeout into this one. They're going to talk this over, see what they can get done. Maybe they're going to go back towards the fast approach. We saw them try the slow approach towards outside, but they just seem to be getting picked off in that regard. So maybe they're going to try a fast A hit, maybe a fast ramp hit. They really haven't been testing Fady over towards the ramp. He's pretty much just at free reign. They've lobby crunched one time in a gun round, and that's been to full effect from ATK. So maybe they're going to go back towards a fast A play or maybe a fast ramp play. But we're going to see what they can get done. 4 seconds left on the clock until we get into possibly the last round of this nuke encounter. We're going to see if Dynamic have got what it takes to bring this back in towards overtime and not fall 2-0 to the biggest juggernaut in the country. But again, they're just falling back on this slow sort of play. I think there's Util lined up for this A play, so they're actually going to explode onto the A bomb site. Doru is going to be entertained. Next is going to be the first, but Mistim is going to be over towards second bench. They line up for him. He gets 2. Mistim seems to be the art of the multi-frags this game so far. Now it's the man left in a 1v4. He can't get anything more done, and ATK finishes second map 16-10.
They've done it, Nick, even though it was looking dicey at one stage. DNMK brought it all the way to 10-10. They were even ahead 10-8 at one stage, if I'm not mistaken. But as soon as ATK got the weapons in their hands on the CT side of Nuke, they were able to get the job done, get themselves across the line, secure that 2-0 advantage heading into the third and final, potentially the final map. They're certainly going to be looking to make it the final map.
Yeah, definitely. That's something to keep in mind, right? Is that they were 8-2 up. It did go 8-7. It did look a bit dicey, but they just cleaned it up as soon as they had the rifles on the CT side. Their CT defense looked very resolute. It looked very good, and they pretty much shut Dynamic out besides the first 2 rounds on the T side. 16-10 obviously reads a lot better than possibly a 16-2 scoreline, which we thought possibly could have been on the cards, but it was the expected result, right? 16-12 on Inferno, now it's 16-10 on Nuke, and it's what we expected from ATK, to say the least.
It is indeed, and as I said a bit earlier, we're going to be having some guests in between each of the maps to just try and add a bit of extra insight to the panel. This time around, we have Shia from Online Kingdom joining us. Welcome, Shia.
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
So, you play for Online Kingdom. You obviously would have played against DNMK and ATK a number of times. What do you think about these two teams going head-to-head, first off?
Sure. Obviously, I don't think anyone expected DNMK to get this far, but well done to them. They've worked really hard. They deserve to be there, obviously.
Yeah. Going into the next map is Mirage. You guys have, as Online Kingdom, it's actually your guys' strongest map by quite a while. You guys beat DNMK a couple days ago on that very map. Do you think that DNMK can bring it to ATK heading into Mirage, or are we going to be seeing that 3-0?
I think if they, obviously they're going to be warm by now, but I think if they have their teamwork under control, they have their trading sorted, because I remember against us they were a bit, I want to say unsure, but they would go in one by one and stuff like that. So if they can sort that out, then I think it'll be a close map.
100%. And James, we always talk about this ATK side. They're definitely the strongest opponents coming into this matchup. They're definitely favourites. So I want to hear from Online Kingdoms and your points of view, like what makes this ATK roster so good?
Sure, it just seems that they always like helping each other. It's hard to like get an opening into a bomb site. So like you kill one, you get traded immediately, stuff like that. Like I remember even playing them on Mirage, we'd be happy if we got double digits against them. But it seems like you kill one, you get traded straight away, and their util usage, like compared to any other team we would play, was just crazy.
Yeah. Shia, did you manage to catch that previous map on Nuke?
I did.
Yeah, so I mean, DNMK, they actually looked fairly promising at one point there, but they just weren't able to get across the line. And you're talking about how strong ATK are. That's another thing about them, right? Is that even when you're ahead or in a position to close out the map, you still can't count them out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they definitely got a few nice clutches there. I remember that, I think it was a 2v4 in the pistol there. The second pistol, that was insane. But yeah, they were there, but they just needed like a little bit extra to get over the line to break down ATK's economy.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, Shia, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a few of your thoughts. We really appreciate you giving your time, man.
Cool.
We'll see you next time. That was Shia from Online Kingdom sharing his perspective on the DNMK versus ATK matchup.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what he said, right? It seems like it's so hard to find an avenue into a bomb site. You get one frag, then you just get shot in the back of the head or you get shot in the side of the head. So it's quite interesting to hear from another player's perspective. I think it's always nice hearing from the players that are in the same server as ATK and as Dynamic. We hear from their perspective what makes Dynamic so good, what makes ATK so good, why are they in the positions they are right now. So it's always interesting to hear from the other players' perspectives.
And I love when you asked him that question, what makes ATK so good? He was looking down, he just got like this little grin on his face and he's just like, damn, this team's so hard to play against, bro. They've got so many strengths. And like you said, one of their main strengths is their spacing. They've got very good communication between one another and very good structure amongst their team. And you can always see that there's always room for that trade. There's always trade potential on the table to make sure that they don't get caught off guard. Very tough to enter into bomb sites and find those avenues to get into the site because of how well structured they are. We're going to be taking a commercial break now before we head into that third map and potentially the final map of the series. Do DNMK have what it takes to take us the distance, or are we going to be seeing this grand final closed out in 3 maps and ATK crowned the champions of the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5 Comic-Con Africa Finals? We'll have to wait and find out. We'll be back with you guys after this break.
My gaming name is Josh, and the game I qualified in was Castle Defense.
I only have one chance, but then I've been trying to play the other games just for fun.
Welcome back to the Telkom VS Gaming Masters. You caught me drinking water. My God, who would have thought I'm also a human being? We are in the grand final right now of the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5 Comic-Con Africa Online. And it has been a fantastic series so far. Yes, ATK are ahead 2-0, but it's been a hotly contested 2-0, Nick.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a lot closer than I think a lot of people would have thought, but we can't discount this dynamic side, right? I mean, the fact that you were able to overthrow Goliath, you were able to overthrow Sinister 5 prior to this, which people probably thought both those teams could have got the better of them.
Yeah.
The fact is that Dynamic are in this position, so you can't discount on the possibility that they could actually make a possible comeback. Like, yes, it's going to be an uphill battle, but of course it's possible. I mean, it's the game we know and love. It's Counter-Strike. It's the 5v5. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Mirage, it is picked by Dynamic, which we did think was a bit of an iffy one.
Yeah.
We would have thought that they would have gone for the Vertigo pick rather, but they've picked Mirage, so maybe they've got the trading on points. I mean, we spoke to James at halftime, and he spoke about that Dynamic seemed a bit iffy in the Mirage that they played against them, but maybe they've got that ironed out, and maybe they're going to take the game to ATK, and it's going to be an exciting one to see whether ATK take a 3-0 victory.
Well, Nick, we're about to find out because we're into the third map here. It is Mirage, and like you said, it is a question mark. Do DNMK have what it takes to contest ATK, who have proven time and time again that they are absolute juggernauts on this map? Or are DNMK going to be bringing something fantastic out the bag and getting the job done? They're going to be popping towards this B bomb site very aggressively. The nade doesn't do too much by Mistim, drops the smoke to buy himself some extra time and allow for his teammates to rotate in as well. But Heartbreak has bypassed Mistim as well as his teammate firing shots through the smoke. Mistim will get found out by Heartbreak, so it's one-man advantage secured for DNMK as they take the bomb site. But Fady takes off Heartbreak's head and he's going to continue charging in towards this B bomb site. There's support for him as well as ATK are starting to converge. Finally, DNMK are connecting on their shots, and there's only one player left remaining. That's Blaze in a 1 versus 3. He does land a nice first shot, but they know exactly where he is now, and surely this is mission impossible, and he ain't no Tom Cruise.
Yeah, no Tom Cruise, and I'm pretty sure the double peaks will come out. It does so. They shoot Blaze in the side of the head, and that is the first round on the board for Dynamic, an all-needed first round if they're going to start to surmount this comeback that they're going to need against ATK. Span this sheep for a DNMK reverse sweep is what I want to see in the Twitch chat. We're going to see if there's any DNMK supporters, but Dynamic, they post an all-important pistol round, but they're going to have to ward off the force buy once again from ATK. We speak about ATK's prowess in this sort of map with the individual plays that they can make and the individual talent that they have, and Dynamic, that's something that's all too familiar with them. I mean, we speak about the man, we speak about Diver, what they can do, so maybe Mirage plays into their hands against the likes of the structured ATK.
Yeah, certainly setting the tone with that pistol round, going to be starting things off nicely. Their T-pistols have been very simple, very basic from DNMK, not doing anything too special, but very effective in that same breath. And ATK, they've come back with the full force buy here. 2 scouts, an SMG, and a couple upgraded pistols to try and chip away at DNMK. But DNMK not giving them anything right now, just sitting back and posting, waiting for any aggression to come through. And there is going to be a fight towards the top of middle. Slowy was just posting on the angle, does take down the man. However, a trade does come elsewhere on the map. Mistim underneath Palace has a chance to find the shots onto Nexus, and he does exactly that. There's no trade potential either, as Nexus was all by himself on this part of the map. And that made things fairly awkward right now for DNMK. Another missed smoke by ATK. My God, come on, guys. You can click heads as well as you can, but your util needs work.
It is going to be a 3v4 in the mid-round. One player rather, that being Blaze. He is low HP, but Slowy's going to press his over towards middle again. He's going to take Heartbreak out of the equation, but Divo comes in with the trade, so missed him. He's recouped over towards Palace, but his Spidey sense is going to start tingling. There is a player coming up behind him. That is Dweezil, so Dweezil's going to have free reign. Possibly a knife is going to be on the cards. Dweezil, the Weasel, takes out Mistim with the knife, and it is going to be Blaze and Doe left in a 2v2. The low HP of Blaze means that this round is probably all but done for the side of DNMK. The bomb is going to be planted with 5 seconds left on the clock. Blaze rotating in late. He does have the deagle in hand, and he is going to shoot Dive in the side of the head, and he almost catches Dweezil in transition, but Dweezil now knows of his position, and the 6 HP of Blaze pretty much means that Blaze's time is numbered.
Yeah, surely, right? And Dweezil realizes, I don't want to be hanging around here. I don't want to be giving Blaze any chance at finding this clutch. The 1v1, Blaze edging his way around the corner. going to actually be sticking the defuse. So it's a done deal here for Dweezil as he just comes around the corner. No kit available for Blaze. So it was sealed in the end as Dweezil gets the job done. Another clutch for him. Yeah, definitely one of the easier clutches, but he's had a number of 1vx situations in the series already.
I mean, even thinking back to yesterday, the first thing that pops to mind is that 1v3 pistol round on Vertigo, where that was absolutely nutty, an absolute lights out performance on that map. Yet to really show up again, not necessarily show up, but really carry the similar way we saw he did so against Goliath yesterday on Vertigo. He hasn't really had that lights out performance today, but I mean, if any time's the best time, it's now. They're 2-0 up currently, and Dweezil, he's going to be looking to pop off. He's already got a knife kill, so I mean, that's a bit of banter that's going to be in the chat, you know. Everyone loves a good knife.
And $1,800,
exactly,
by the way.
Exactly, and the monetary benefit that a knife frag has, so things are looking good. Just a bit of a tech pause, which is been a theme so far this map. You know, each map you get a bit of a tech pause, you know, everyone just gets to chill. Like, why not? But hopefully it's not the man's PC again. Oh, he seems to be moving, so it's fine.
I can confirm it's not him. Yeah, so this is going to be a full eco for ATK. They did a lot of damage in that previous round, though, mostly courtesy of Slowy's Scout and a couple of the Deagles as well. Certainly got into a potential position there to close out that force buy, but DNMK did get the job done regardless. Secured themselves the 2-0 start out on Mirage, but it is just the beginning. Remember, they're going to have to reverse sweep ATK here in the best of 5 if they are going to be winning the title of champions here at Comic-Con Africa. And of course, we've been mentioning it a number of times. Dweezil, he's on course for the 3-peat potentially here in the final right now, but he's going to have to win as many maps as he would have Comic-Con wins if he's going to be finding that third and final, or that third consecutive title. The one thing I will say though, Nick, is this is his toughest opponent he has ever faced in the final of a Comic-Con matchup.
Yeah, that is definitely something to keep in mind when we're talking about this dynamic possible reverse sweep. We've got to think back and think, it's against ATK, it's against the Goliath that they are, it's against the juggernauts of the South African scene. They've been at the top of the scene for a while now. They've been 22-0 so far in the VS Gaming Masters Season 5. They haven't dropped a map to anyone that's been in and around them, so they've been wiping the floor with all the competition. The only people that have really come close to beating them is Goliath, but they're no longer in the tournament, so Dynamic, clearly they've got a place to stay, considering they beat Goliath yesterday in a best of 3. 2-1 was the score, so Dynamic, they're definitely proving that they're going to be here.
Yeah.
Three maps in a row. It is going to be a tall ask, but you never know. It is doable. But it just seems like ATK, they're just so good, though. Like, what do you do if you're Dynamic 3 rounds in a row? Like, ATK, like, it's ATK. It's ATK, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, it's Dynamic and possibly 3 maps, but it's ATK.
Yeah, that name just strikes fear in the opposition. Doesn't matter what map, doesn't matter what the setting, doesn't matter what weapons they have, Nick. If you just see ATK on the opposite side, they are a force to be reckoned with, to say the least. Technical issues have been resolved and we will be going away momentarily here. Once again, the unpause should be coming through any second now. And this is going to be one of the easiest rounds that DNMK have had to deal with throughout this entire series.
Just
so
because
far.
you said that, they've lost it. Just because you said that.
5 USPs, an HE grenade, a few HE grenades. We could see an airstrike coming through. Slowy has enough to buy one up, so does Mistum. Fady's on the edge.
Imagine all 5 Dynamic players swing middle and they just get dunked by 2 nades.
How not to approach an anti-eco round.
Exactly.
It's funny because normally the nades are thrown the other way around. It's the T players who are throwing the nades through the top mid smoke. We'll have to see how ATK are approaching this. Normally when you buy up a couple extra nades on the CT side, you go towards T ramp right and you try and catch off any early aggression, but you shouldn't be getting aggressive early in the round if you are in an anti-eco on the T side. We are unpaused here once again. We saw DNMK in the previous round just spread themselves out, cast that net across the map, and try and catch any aggression that ATK was bringing to the table. So we'll probably be seeing something similar here in this anti-eco round as well, just a wealth of respect coming through from DNMK.
But as you said, there shouldn't really be much to write home about in this round, unless ATK get a couple double dinks going their way, and that's the first one.
This is so classic Slowy, man. Seriously.
Okay.
No, it's fine. It's okay because they get the information and it's just Heartbreak who's been taken down. There's still 4 players left here for DNMK and they're going to be charging onto the speed bomb side, and Blaze is there by himself with the USP as well. And Dweezil with the spray transfer of incredible magnitude is able to find that second frag.
That was nuts.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
What?
It was anti-eco though, so I'm not hyping it up.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
No, it was good. It doesn't really matter, right? Because it was a headshot, so it didn't make a difference what that second player had. He could have had an open full armor for all Dweezil had known. However, DNMK secure that anti-eco round with 4 players left alive next. That's going to bode quite well for their economy. But now we head into the first full gun round, and Slowy, he has that big green gun. Now remember, Slowy, he is the best player in South Africa on the CT side of Mirage, especially once he gets the opener hands. He can literally become an unstoppable force.
Definitely, and something we spoke about yesterday, when you're having a look at ATK on Mirage, probably not yesterday, sorry, back on Thursday. Yeah, exactly. Slowly just opening up the round is you're going to be expecting these aggro peaks halfway through the round for information from the likes of Fady and Slowly trying to get something done. So there's something to keep in mind, that those are probably the 2 best players on a map like Mirage in South Africa, where it's so aim dependent when you're just taking those duels. So it is going to be the all-important buy round, though, however, from the side of ATK. So if Dynamic can clear this one out, it is going to be interesting. Dweezil's going to catch Blaze out towards the B position. Now it's just Doru going to try to anchor down that B bomb side. Actually, Slowy, he's posted from the window. But there is still this jump spot towards the bottom of Ticket Booth over towards A, as Fady's got one in the meantime. And one player's disconnected once more, so it's going to be...
And it's the man again.
4v2, yeah, hopefully he's not having any recurring PC issues. And
was he alive still?
Yeah.
Man, that sucks. Oh, well, they can still get the job done. Another frag came through onto Fady towards Connector, opening things up a bit here for DNMK as they start to gravitate towards this B-bomb site. Nexus and Dweezil tasked with trying to get this one across the line. Slowy, though, already jump spotting here with the AWP, and he's going to be dropping the smoke as well. So life has become very tough for DNMK. They have no choice but to go through that smoke, but they end up just running straight into Doru, who lines them up and knocks them down. And that is a round for ATK.
Yeah, it's a bit of an Aluko from the side of Dynamic. I mean, your player disconnecting mid-round, it's a bit of a rip, but you know, it happens, and there's nothing much you can do about it. It's online CS, so you just got to take it on the chin. ATK, they were looking relatively strong into that round. The early pick from Slowy, excuse me, and then Fady got another pick on top of that. So it was a 5v3, so Dynamic, they were fighting an uphill battle regardless. But yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. But ATK, they post their all-important first round and first gun round, to say the least. So Dynamic, I mean, you got to just look towards the next buy round. You got a decent amount of bank, which could warrant a force buy. You could argue that they should force buy into this. Yes, Heartbreak doesn't have the money. I'm not sure how the man's money is looking, but yeah, I think Dynamic, they probably will reinvest into the next one, considering Heartbreak will have to eco into 2 after this if he is going to choose to bring up the AWP. So it's going to be another avenue into which they can approach this next round, but I do assume it's going to be another Dynamic investment and another test for the ATK Resolute defense on the CT side.
The good news, Nick, is that the man has already connected to the server in real time, so it'll just be a minute 30 seconds before we get him back on our end, so not too long of a technical break. Yeah, so
at
this
least
is
it's not like serious technical issues.
Yeah, and it's just it's been fairly quickly resolved on most of the occasions as well. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Hopefully, it's the first and last of them here on Mirage, and we'll be able to have a seamless rest of the map. We'll have to see how it ends up playing out. So how do DNMK approach this, considering that they are behind by 2 maps right now? And if they lose this, of course, that's the series over. They need to win the next 3 consecutive maps to secure the title of champions here at Comic-Con Africa Online. And the reason I ask that question is because, Nick, when you look at that bigger picture, it must be so tough to digest.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you think about what Dynamic have to do to take back these 3 maps, as you said, it's a big picture, it's tough, it's an uphill battle, but if you're Dynamic, a relatively new IGLing style, a relatively new roster in comparison to ATKs, you haven't been around as long, you really haven't had that synergy in that long of a time, especially with the new IGLing style, so you just got to go back to the basics. You can't be doing anything overly complicated, because if that happens, ATK, they're just going to pick you apart. You just got to go back to possibly 4 manning at places, and you can do that on a map in Mirage for the most part.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely possible. You just got to make sure the trades are on point. I mean, we spoke to Sheer and we spoke to his experience against the likes of Dynamic on a map like Mirage. They seem a bit iffy in the trades. They seem seem to doubt each other when they come into the trades. And as you said in a previous map, you said you can't force a trade. I actually think you said in the high school E-League game earlier that you can't force a trade. You either have the timing on point, or you're just going to give the enemy a double kill. So I think Dynamic, again, they just got to go back to the basics. They've got to go back to the spacing. They've got to go back to the timings. And if they play the 4-man Counter-Strike that they can play, we saw them do it on Dust 2, we could see what they can get done. But talk about 4-man Counter-Strike and possibly a 3-man Comic-Con win at Dweezil. He's going to try to take things into his own account over towards the apt position, as early utility has been traded from the two sides, but it's still going to be a 5v5. Blaze being the only person that's taken some damage into this round.
Yeah, full gun round here for both of these teams. Heartbreak been reduced to the scout. Unfortunately, no big green gun for him, just its younger brother.
Yeah.
And DNMK not really committing to anything just yet. They have got the man who's feeling out ramp. They've got two players towards the back of apartments while the bomb just lurks towards top of middle. Just waiting for ATK to potentially get aggressive and then shutting them down thereafter. Slowly, he's going to get boosted up here. He lands the leg shot. That's quite awkward. He takes quite a lot of damage in response as well. In the meanwhile, the man, he's going to get found out by Fady. However, will Fady be anticipating Nexus in the palace? Not sure. He could get caught off guard by the timing. He has got support from Mistim, but it's all about whether Nexus can catch that timing or not. 4 versus 4 here, and Dynamic are starting to lean towards the safe site. They've got 2 smokes and 2 flashes left to their name here, Nick, to try and conjure up some sort of an exec.
Definitely, but Mistim understands that there could be... Oh, that's a bit of a missed smoke by Dweezil, but Mistim understands that there could be vulnerable to the sniper's boost, which has just come in. Divo is in the sniper's position, and they're going to start pushing the issue over towards A. They could catch Mistim in transition, but Fady's going to be the first to fall. Mistim comes in with the trade. Now his job is just to stay alive. He can't be caught with an AD in his hand. He's good for 2. The bomb is planted by Heartbreak, and Mistim, he's good for 3. And Divo is left in snipers with 11 points of health, and it looks like ATK are posting the second as time runs out on the 5th round of Mirage.
Yeah, and that's so unfortunate for Divo as well, because look at what that's done to the economic situation in DNMK. The team is going to be saving, but Divo will only have $350 to his name, which means if DNMK lose this round, he's only going to have $2,750 heading into the next round, where his teammates will have enough money to full buy. And that's the problem with staying alive when your team is ecoing in the next as a T player. You don't get that injection of cash. Things become quite awkward. So he has to get the job done with the AK, and Heartbreak's already been removed from the equation. Divo yet to chime in. Divo been put in the grave, and Fady just on the sequence right now as he tears through DNMK single-handedly. Oh my god, that was a clean headshot onto Dweezil. Dweezil just wanted to trade, bro.
Yeah,
and not even fragged. He had some cool Yu-Gi-Oh cards he wanted to show you. He was just like,
he was just
hello,
looking
sir.
at Fady.
Will you take a second to... Jesus.
Hello,
Calm
sir.
down.
You want to buy my cookies?
Yeah, well, he didn't even get the last word out.
Exactly.
He's just got a bullet in his mouth.
You want to buy my M4 bullet to your face? Easy peasy.
It's now going to be an eco round for DNMK. A couple upgraded pistols to work with. So, yeah, I mean, they have enough money to just even out the buy, I suppose. It's pretty much a double save now for DNMK.
Gotta love a Palace Pop.
Gotta love the Palace Pop. Flashbang on Dweezil. It's going to be the double flash over the top. The problem is Mistim's not going to be getting caught off by either of these flashes, and he gets under Palace just in time to welcome them with open arms, though the man with that Tech 9 will at least be able to trade him out before too much damage is done. Fady also in transition to try and make sure that this bomb's not going to be planted, though he needs to be careful because Dweezil is imminent, and he does take him down as well. Can the man secure the plant? Yes, he can. That's a victory in itself for DNMK. The question is now, can they find a couple frags? Low HP on Fady. I got a bit nervous there for a second, but still... ATK secure the round, so that's their 4th consecutive round win now, Nick.
And that was relatively clean. Like, yes, Mistim and Slowy fell, but you're still able to save that AWP that Slowy dropped. You still got 7k in the bank of both the players that I just mentioned. So everything's looking good. Dynamic, they looking good for them and themselves. That was a full eco round for the most part, just a couple pistols and a couple flashbangs purchased up, and they got the bomb plant, so that money's looking good on their sort of side. But if you're ATK, you're going to be looking to post the second buy round on the third buy round rather on the board, and that's what Mistim's going to try to do. This molly over towards ramp is nice and deep, so it shrouds the sound of your footsteps. But actually, the man, he's going to press the issue. He's going to catch Mistim out, but Slowy comes in with the trade. And next is going to try to push the issue over towards Apps, but he's actually going to fall back, Palace rather, and through the smoke, Dweezil gets tapped down a little bit, but Divo, he could catch Fady in no man's land. Oh, Fady's throwing out a one-way that the Novas use. I mean, you got to respect it. You got to respect it.
I mean, he's going to get taken off here if he continues to hang around.
Yeah.
Bro, like, that is just so questionable. What are you even thinking there, Fady? Seriously, like, you know that Divo's holding the angle. You know that the T player has every advantage in the world. Your team is 4 versus 4 in the round. What are you doing taking that fight?
I think that's just the confidence. When we spoke to Adam a while ago on Thursday, and he said, how do you beat ATK? And he said, what makes ATK so good? He said, they just play with confidence. I think that's what we saw there. Maybe it was a bit preemptive. Well, it was a bit preemptive, actually. I'm not going to put maybe before that. I think Fady, he didn't really have a reason to try fight that. But it just so happened that he tried to just take that gunfight. He lost it. But slowly, he's got all this info over towards ramp. So now they've got a double B set up. Blaze is up close, nice, but a good flash comes out. But there's a player boosting the site. That is Doru. The question is, does he get cleared? The molly doesn't spread to his position, and he's let players run past. So Doru's good for 1, Doru's good for 2. But the trade finally comes in. But that makes it a winnable round for Slowy. He's over towards markets, and he's creeping with this AK. He's going to molly over towards default. He's got the first.
Nice
but Divo comes in with the trade, and 4-all is the score. That was a decent round from Dynamic. They traded out efficiently, but it was just that misplay from Fady and Window that effectively cost ATK the round.
Yeah, tough draw indeed. 4-4. DNMK get back to winning ways here on their T side of Mirage. AKs across the board, and it seems like they're going to be going for the stock standard A exec here. All 5 players making their way towards that part of the map. CT smoke, stairs smoke, jungle smoke. And it is just something you can always fall back on the T side of Mirage. It is the staple of Mirage, the A execute. The question is, are they going to be committing to it? And it seems like a bit of a missed smoke.
Double pump.
They are doing the double pump, yeah.
It was a missed smoke, that's right.
But you're right, indeed. They're going to be looking for that double pump. So the mentality here is you throw out the util, you don't throw any follow-up. It looks like it's going to be a fake, and then you execute after that. But there's still 3 players here from ATK's perspective. Fady going to be throwing a flash high into the sky to give Mistum a chance to take some fights. He finds 2 frags at the back of that flash. Dweezil will be able to trade it up, but now Fady comes into the equation, and he's able to find 2, nearly a third, as he gets taken down by Dweezil once again. But the problem is so much damage has already been done. Dweezil, with his tail between his legs, is making his way back towards T-spawn. But he is in a very tough clutch situation now with no teammates left remaining.
Do weasels have tails?
I think so. Just maybe like short little stubby ones.
I think so.
I want to research now.
Yeah, I also don't know whether weasels have tails.
I think they do.
That'll be interesting. Because then it would literally be a weasel with its tail in between its legs.
Some weasels have long tails, others have short tails. So it seems like all weasels have tails. There we go.
So Dweezil definitely has a tail between his legs. He wasn't able to win out the 1v3.
Okay.
But be there as it may, ATK post their 5th. Doru, he's going for the BM. He's rushing middle. Surely he's rushing.
Yeah.
He's got the spawn. No! Why aren't you rushing middle, Doru?
You were the chosen one!
Exactly!
No. Why did you betray us?
You were the high ground.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay.
Well, Fady just wants to get in on the action here as well, just continuing to be a nightmare, a living nightmare for DNMK. He's so unpredictable, and Doru will be able to get a frag with that P90. My thing about the P90 is why it literally makes no sense to use that weapon is because it's the only SMG. Yeah, it's so expensive, and it's the only SMG that you don't get the extra kill reward for, right? You only get like $300, I think, with a P90 kill, whereas with other SMGs you get the $600. So that alone is enough for me to literally never use that gun. Literally ever.
Maybe.
And he has it again. He's taken it into this round as well.
It's because they're pushing middle. Doru's going to be pushing middle with a P90. Imagine.
Drops lowers, actually.
Actually, he's going to get...
He's dead.
I was about to say he's going to get some work done.
Punished, Doru.
Yeah, that's what you get for buying a P90.
And Blaze, he's going to burn Heartbreak out.
Hello?
And Blaze was actually about to walk into his crosshair, and Mistum's come through lowers. DNMK, they weren't anticipating the second player. It was the bait for Doru all the time. They used him. They used him, Nick. He thought he was the man to get the job done. He thought he was the superstar. And Mistum, the IGL, said, yes, just run ahead in front of me. And the man at least gets a frag, but it's a short-lived success as Fady trades him out. And now it's left on Divo in the 1v3, and he's not long for this world either, as he gets taken down by Fady as well, who's on an absolute tear right now, Nick. He is 17 for 7, nearly, or at least over double anybody on his team, nearly double anybody on the server. Just Divo with 9 kills negates that. But still, what a lights-out performance he's having right now.
In fact, we're just seeing Fady just peeking middle whenever he wishes to do so, and he's locking down that A ramp position. That was a buy round, and he got 3 kills pretty much seamlessly, and he wasn't really blind though, so he didn't really get mollied out of position, or the trades really weren't on point for the side of Dynamic. They just tried to contact out towards the A ramp. But props to Fady in that round. He gets 3 kills rather pretty effectively, and it's going to be Mistim tasked with not locking down the say bomb site. There is a double setup towards middle. 1 player posted towards lowest, that is Fady. 1 player posted towards upper mid, that is Slowy. But it is a 2-man B setup, and it is pretty much an eco coming out from the side of Dynamic. So there's going to be a good old-fashioned B pop, and Slowy gathers the first. It blazes over towards bench, and he's going to drop the bomb, and he's going to swing out and get the second, and on the continuation spray almost get the third. But Fady over towards Cat is going to finish it up with Slowy, and it's 8-4. And ATK, they're looking really good, keeping these anti-ecos as clean as possible.
Yeah.
And the buy rounds they're cleaning up with good succession.
Nick, let's not forget that DNMK started off with a 3-round consecutive win streak on this map. They went up 3-0. Ever since then, it's been one-way traffic. ATK have been dominating this affair. They have won 8 of the past 9 rounds, and they're not showing any signs of slowing down either. Heartbreak only has 2 kills right now, and he has been one of the really influential players for DNMK. We saw him with that fantastic clutch on the first map, the 1v4 with the AWP. They're going to need him to come to the server right here, right now. Slowy, playing ahead of the smoke, will be able to get a kill. He's always there, even though he's blinded. He still has the timing under wraps. And he's going to... Wow, that was fantastic. He's going to take down Divo as well. And this is Slowy just finding his footing. Finally, Heartbreak will shut him down, but they now know exactly where he is. So surely he can't get anything further down. Mistim just backs up until he sees his head appear, and he will find the frag. 9-4. ATK continue to surge here on Mirage, and there's going to be another timeout here for DNMK.
That was a full buy round for the side of DNMK, and ATK, as you said, they're completely just surging throughout these buy rounds. That was literally a full investment. Slowy gets a frag towards top and middle. Not a great flash from the side of Dynamic. It doesn't really flash the AWP post on that angle. He was he was partially blind, but ultimately not blind enough for because Nexus just fell. So then he got another kill through the smoke, which is all the luck in that regard. The mid-smoke faded, you got a kill into Divo, maybe a bit preemptive to peek over towards Palace, but I mean, you're feeling it, you got 3 kills in the round, got to respect that. Heartbreak left in a 1v4, couldn't get anything done. But ATK, they're looking really solid. They're getting decent double frag, decent multi-frags in the rounds, and Dynamic, they just aren't capitalizing on the trades, they just aren't able to trade out the early frags that ATK are going to be able to do, but it just seems like ATK, they're looking really good coming into this next one.
Yeah.
And even here, Mistim, he's solo towards the A-bomb sites, and he's going to smoke over towards ramp, which is going to gather him a bit of extra time. That being if Dynamic do choose to respect the smoke, but the flash is going to come in. But Fady's come to help his teammate Mistim over towards the side, and that's the bomb.
Yeah, he's in position just in time as he shuts down the man. Dweezil going to try and surge forward here, and he will find that frag to even things out again, but the util has dwindled. There's nothing left for DNMK, so it's on Heartbreak to try and take the attention, and he pounces at the perfect moment, bringing it to a 3v3, but Snowy, he gets 3 quick kills in such quick succession. How has he done that, Nick? And all of a sudden, Heartbreak, he has to go absolutely nuclear with the Galil. Somehow he's been able to take down Blaze as well. He's left in a 1 versus 1. He's done a fantastic job throughout this round, but it just doesn't feel like it's enough because he's brought down to 38 and Doru knows whereabouts he is. But with so much time left on the clock, Heartbreak going to reconsider his alternative options here. Dips all the way back towards the A bomb site through T spawn. And Doru has no idea where he is now, Nick. Doru, he's even completely relinquished the bomb. Well, it doesn't seem like it, Nick. It does not seem like it because he's gone all the way across to B. He's expecting Heartbreak to rotate across towards the B bomb side. Heartbreak's not even going to know what's happening right now when he walks onto the A bomb side, and it's completely vacant. Doru has given Heartbreak a way to win this clutch in the 1v1, and now he's going to be starting to realize his transgressions. He's going to realize that there is no presence coming through from Heartbreak on this B-bomb side of the map. Might get the angle on catwalk, and he does. How does that work? How does it play out that way? Such a weird and wacky turn of events.
That's
Nick.
when you know everything's going ATK's way. I mean, he didn't know the bomb was on A, so Doru's like, okay, maybe he's going to try big brain me and go B.
Yeah.
And then he just peeks cat at the perfect time. Heartbreak's just chilling there, like, Doru, just shoot me in the face, please.
Yeah.
And Doru takes those every day of the week, and that's double digits for ATK already. We're talking about Dynamic having to make 3 maps in a row, but they've only posted just more than 3 rounds. They've got 4 to their name on the T side of Mirage, as 50-50 a map as you could think of. And they're just going to go back to the same play, but Blaze and Slowy are going to open up things. Fady pushing middle, going to take out Divo. And ATK, they're looking like a team that wants 100k.
And this is what I saw coming when we saw the Mirage pick. This is what I've been saying throughout this entire series. ATK are just such beasts on this map. They've got Fady, they've got Slowy, and that's literally all they need. Mr. and Blaze and Dory, just buy flashes, guys. Flashes and smokes, that's all you need at the start of the round. They will get the frags.
Doru's flashing for Fady.
Yeah.
So, like,
are you surprised even, man? Fady's got 22 kills in 15 rounds, and he's looking to add 1 more to the tally. Nexus is like, how am I being blinded? And Slowy wanted the knife there, but all of a sudden Nexus has turned this into a bit of an intriguing situation from a 1v5 into a 1v3. They now know where he is, and he's still boxed in, Nick. 3 players converging on his position, and he doesn't have the bomb. This is pretty much just a matter of time, right?
Yeah, Nexus is definitely living on borrowed time, especially with this flank from Wisdom coming in. He's going to clean it up, and 11-4 at the half. ATK are looking really good into the next. Fady and Slowy, the 2 names we're talking about constantly, they're at the top of the scoreboard, 22-9 and 17-10 respectively. ATK are looking really good to finish this out in 3 and take that 100k and the title of Comic-Con champions.
And they're doing it in convincing fashion as well. The past 2 maps certainly had moments where it looked really close and really tight, but right here, right now, ATK are surging ahead. They've got themselves 5 rounds away from, as you said, securing themselves the title of champions. Are they going to be getting it done nice and quickly here on the T side, or do DNMK still have life in them yet, Nick? They didn't have the pressure on their shoulders coming into this match because they were such significant underdogs, and they certainly don't have pressure on them now because they're behind the game. And it's like, guys, it's all to play for right now. You know, it's this or nothing, and we're behind, so let's just have some fun with this. Let's just see if we can make something happen. Yes, it doesn't seem likely, but anything can happen in this wonderful game that we call Counter-Strike. 2 flashes and a kit on Dweezil, 2 smokes and 4 flashes on the side of ATK. And Nick, they're not messing about. They're not wasting any time. They want to close this out as quickly as they can. They're egg-egging onto the A bomb site.
I love this A executes. It's pretty much a standard as you like. You know, you smoke jungle, you smoke top con, you take CT. That's pretty much how the strat goes. The 2 flashes are going to come out. The smokes have been brought out. Heartbreaker's playing around the brink of them, and Slowy is going to get caught with his pants down. Heartbreak, he's not good for 2. Missed him, trades him out. The bomb is going to be planted, but the CTs are going to start pressure from CT. But Doru, he's good for 1. He's almost good for a second, and he is so. And now it's Nexus left in a 1v2. The bomb is planted for Con, so missed him. He can just chill, and now it's Nexus left fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, how does he even win this 1 versus 2 considering the positions of the remaining 2 T players? Doru just passively sitting back and waiting. He's got the information, so now Mistim can start to activate as well, but he's the trump card. He's the insurance right now. Like you said, the bomb's planted for him, but there's a bullet that's been planted in Nexus's head. 12-4, ATK, they're on the home stretch now, Nick. It's like when you're driving home from Durban, you come around that corner on the highway and you can just see the Joburg skyline on the horizon, and you're like, okay, now I know that we're just away from getting home, and that's exactly where ATK
You can just
right
see
now.
the lovely line of pollution just above,
Come
above
on,
the
Nick,
Johannesburg skyline.
Paint a beautiful euphemism here. Stop being so realistic.
What ATK see is just green, you know, just green dollar bills, you know. But we're going to see what they can get done. They're just going to be rushing down middle, just going to play this as fast as possible. Well-placed nades could mean that they're going to take a decent chunk of damage. A smoke towards the top of Con allows for the speed split to come in, and flashes from the apps position means that ATK, they're going to walk into a vacant B bomb site. Looks like it's pretty much going to be their 13th, but we always speak about this. When you're 11-4 down, you lose the pistol. You don't want to force into the second round. You want to make sure that you have as much real estate as possible to surmount the retake. And you spoke to Ash yourself, and you said when you're in Dynamic's position, you're just taking it round by round by round. And that's exactly what Dynamic are going to have to do. Yes, they're fighting an uphill battle. Yes, they found themselves 13-4 down, but they're going to have everything they want, and they're going to start taking it round by round by round.
Yeah, and that starts right here, right now, right? If they lose this gun round 14-4 save in the next...
Oh, the man just disconnected.
That's unfortunate. I mean, they just haven't been able to get that consistency going because of these tech issues as well, which have made it pretty tough for DNMK. So we'll have to see exactly how long until he's going to be reconnecting.
Oh, there we go.
All right, so it's a quick one this time. He's just playing with our emotions here, Nick.
They have to reset. Please reset. That would be, yeah, of course they're going to reset.
Yeah, they'll get that reset.
I'd be like, it's going to be heartbreaking.
We're not in a matchmaking server yet,
exactly,
Nick. There is a level of professionalism. So, yeah, that's the worst, right? In MM, like when you DC, you come back, your guns are gone, and you don't have your money left either. Yeah. It's a nightmare.
And you don't have armor. You spawn it without armor. It's worse when you DC on pistol round, because obviously if you've won a couple rounds in a row, you maybe... like you disconnect and maybe you can still buy a rifle or something, but then you still have to buy all that armor and all that utility, and you only drop one piece of utility. Yeah. So it's like, oh, it's so much effort, but...
there's still nothing worse than the bots in matchmaking when you lose a player. And sometimes you can, you hit Z4 and then they stay back and spawn, you tell them to hold position. And then sometimes they're like negative, and they're just like charging up bananas, like, bro, we need you, like just stop.
And also they save round after round after round after round, and then one round they just have like a noob cannon, or like an M249, and it's disgusting. Like, what are you doing?
Back into the game we go. Seems like it might be a bit of a false start though. ATK, they still got the reset. There we go. The reset does come through. Money has been sorted out. Again, we'll be unpaused momentarily, and we will be getting straight back into things here in the grand final of the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Comic-Con Online Finals. ATK currently ahead 2-0. They've been doing it throughout the year, Nick. They've constantly proved that they are the best team in the country. This is when it matters the most. It's the big stage, it's the big money, and they're getting the job done once again.
This is exactly where they got to prove all the naysayers wrong. Everyone's saying, oh, ATK, yes, they've been 22-0 so far in the tournament, but can they do it when it matters most? I think everyone probably saw an ATK Goliath rematch. Obviously dynamic, we can't discount them. Yes, they're a great team, but this seems like a very tall order for them. But if it does start, if this comeback does start for this best of 5, it starts right now as Nexus, he's behind the smoke, he's good for one into Doru. The trade has not come in just yet. Behind the McDonald's smokes, Dweezil gets one into Fady as this B hit seems a bit disjointed from ATK. Dweezil, he wants the 3 kills in the round, he wants the back-to-back Comic-Con victories, and if Dynamic need to start surmounting a comeback, it starts now, and they have a good start at it.
Yeah, really nice B defense there. ATK recognized they're 13-4 up. That's going to be the full gun round for DNMK. Let us just B-rush and see if we can destroy them and close the map out from there. But DNMK, they stand tall, they have a resolute defense, and it's a convincing defense at that. Now they're going to force ATK to reconsider their alternative options. And it seems like they're going to be saying, all right, well, the B hit didn't work. Let's try the full A hit. Let's test them on that side of the map.
I mean, it works on a map like Mirage, where it's similar to Dust 2, where you can just four-man out places. You don't have to... It's not intricate. And Blaze is not going to make Divo's life intricate either. He's going to put him 6 feet under, missed him. He's going to be tasked with entering on this bomb site. Blaze is already by CT. A flash is going to come in. Same means Heartbreaker's full blind. Oh. Blaze... Heartbreaker's actually alive for a lot longer than I expected.
And a nice support flash as well.
But they're going to flash and regress, so... Oh,
flashes on flashes right now. Finally, Heartbreak is going to be separating the two teams with that frag with the AWP. That's a one-man advantage for DNMK, but that one-man advantage is short-lived. Is it indeed? Nexus does get taken down, leaving us in a 3 versus 3. All 3 of the remaining DNMK players are going to be coming from CT, but Slowy's taken down Dweezil. 2 smokes and a flash on Heartbreak and the man to try and get the job done, and they now know exactly where Heartbreak is as well, as he takes down Slowy, and he's left in the 1v2. Trades up for the rifle to give himself a bit of maneuverability, but he is still going to end up going down. And even though ATK lost the previous gun round, they come straight back, win the round thereafter, and all but destroy the hopes of DNMK.
Yeah, that's pretty much DNMK's last nail in the coffin. It looks to be all she said, all she wrote. Yes, there's still 2 more rounds for ATK. Maybe if DNMK can post this buy round, then they'll have a say in this match, but they really don't have any superior weaponry to the side of ATK. ATK have the better buy in pretty much all aspects, better weaponry, more utility, but we're going to see what DNMK can get done. Diver's over towards Apps, he's already been mollied out, and Doe understands of his position, so he's going to try press the issue. Divo, he's in Doru's pocket so far. The last player over towards the A bomb site is towards the top of Con. Heartbreak's been mollied out towards jungle, the man stuck behind a smoke, the A bomb site is left for the taking, and missed him with this late mid flank. he could be good for 2. But all 3 players are being entertained by Mistim. Mistim's putting on a show, but it's going to be a 4v4 retake.
Yeah, finally he gets taken down, which allows DNMK to focus all their resources back on this A bomb site, but those resources are very quickly diminishing. Heartbreak with his tail between his legs, he's just trying to stay alive, but Fady's hot on his heels, and you can bet your top dollar that Fady's not going to be letting him get out alive. Good job from Heartbreak to keep their attention, but it doesn't make any difference. Blaze, Doru, Slowy, Blaze, between the 4 of them, or the 3 of them, with Blaze getting the double, end up securing the round for ATK. Nick, they are now just 1 round away from crowning themselves as champions of the VS Gaming Masters League. Nick, they have not dropped a map throughout the entirety of the main event. They started in the group stage, they played 8 best of 2s, they won them all 2-0. They went into the championship elimination bracket, they won all 3 of their best of 3s 2-0. They are now here in the grand final, and they are standing tall, about to secure it 3-0. Are they unstoppable?
ATK proving that they are big game players, big name players, as they're going to group up for this B hit, where how many people are there for Dynamic? Only 1, that is Dweezil. What a fitting player to welcome them into the B bomb side, passing the mantle. He only has 2 Comic-Cons between him. He's trying to make it 3. He's actually able to get 2 into this round, which allows Dynamic a way into which they could win it, but Doru and Fady, they're going to fight back for it. It's now Doru and Fady left in a 2v5 turn 2v3. Nexus and Dweezil, the only players from Dynamic to get frags in this round so far. Heartbreak, he's got this late flank coming out, which could allow for an extra avenue of attack for the side of Dynamic, but it is 15-5. It is still an uphill battle. But there's 2 rifles inside of ATK. The bomb has been planted, and Doru has got another frag onto Divo. It's now a 2v2. Heartbreak's upgraded to the rifle. He's whiffed the spray. Doru's got another frag, and now it's the man left in a 1v2, and that is it. Everything is all said and done. That is all she wrote. ATK are your Telkom Gaming VS Masters Season 5 champions and Comic-Con winners.
ATK, they do it when it matters the most. People were questioning, do they have what it takes to get it done when the pressure is on the line? And they have once again proved why they are the best team in South Africa, and that they certainly have what it takes when it matters the most. Nick, ATK clinical in their grand final here.
25 maps played, 25 maps won.
That says it all. That like, literally says it all.
If you want anything about ATK so far this tournament, that's all you have to say to someone. If there's any naysayer about saying ATK, oh, they won't perform in the South African scene, or Goliath are better than for whatever reason, or Dynamic could take them toe-to-toe, the fact is that 25 maps played, 25 maps won, and ATK, they are the Telkom Gaming VS Masters Season 5 winners.
And they're taking home 100,000 Rand as a result, Nick. 100K, that is so much money. Once again, they are unstoppable, they are unbeatable, and we are joined by the captain, Mistim, to share his thoughts on that series. Gareth, congratulations. You don't even look like you're that excited. Is this a result you guys expected? What's going on, man? Gareth, we're not getting audio from you. I'm not sure if it's our side or your side. If you just want to quickly have a look there and make sure that that it is our side, I'm not sure. So we'll just have to wait until we resolve that issue. Sorry about that, Gareth, to catch you like that. We'll just have to wait a little bit longer while they resolve that. But ATK, when it matters the most, they stand tall, they get the job done, they win 3-0. Didn't matter whether it was Goliath or DNMK, they were still able to get across the line in convincing fashion.
Yeah, definitely convincing fashion. It is what it was. 25 maps again, 25 maps won. So, I mean, I think that this tech issue just gives us a bit of time to absorb the magnitude of the situation. We talk about ATK being on the top of the pile, being number 1. You've said it yourself. Many players have said it. It's easy to get there, but it's tough to stay there. But the fact is that ATK, they've been at the top of the pile for the past 6, 7, 8 months, and now they've proven that they deserve to be there. They've proven, they've gone through everyone. They've gone through Goliath. They've gone through Sinister 5. They've gone through Dynamic. They've gone through Royalty. They've gone through Online Kingdom. They've gone through all the competition, all the big names in the scene, and now they find themselves 3-0 victors at the end of the road, and ultimately the Comic-Con champions of 2020.
That's exactly what they are, Nick. We have another organization that has now taken home a title of Comic-Con champions. Of course, Energy have got 2, and now ATK have etched their name in history as they have won the title as well at an unprecedented rate. As Nick said, they won 25 consecutive maps in the main event to reach this point. Absolutely mental. We do have Mr. on the line once again. Sorry about that false start, Gareth.
Hello.
There we go. Now we can hear your beautiful voice, you majestic man. Congratulations, Gareth. You guys did it in the convincing 3-0 fashion as you wanted. Probably a little bit closer on the few of the maps. I mean, DNMK certainly brought it to you guys.
Yeah, nothing to take away from them. They really played well. Everyone showed up. There were a few tech issues, especially on the man, so that might have affected the mentality of the team a bit. But they definitely played a really good game. Honestly, I really liked the way that they were playing.
Talking about playing a good game, Gareth, we need to think back to the first 2 maps. You had absolute lights-out performance, pretty much carrying ATK on your back. What happened to that? We always think about, oh, Gareth was always the player throwing flashbacks for Fady and Slowy, but on Inferno, you really showed up. You really put the team on your back. Oh, it's cutting out again.
Gareth, sorry, we're having some more tech issues on our side. I don't know what's happening. We've lost your feed once again. They are working on it, trying to resolve it. So if you wouldn't mind just hanging around while they do just sort that out on our end. But as he said, and as we said, it wasn't a pushover, Nick. I mean, we were sort of chatting before the match started. It might be like a 16-6, 16-8, 16-9 sort of scoreline across the best-of-3 series. But there was a number of times, a number of occasions on both Inferno and on the second map, Nuke, where there were moments where DNMK were looking like they could potentially go on and win the map. So it was a closely contested grand final for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. Testament to what DNMK brought to the table. Very close encounters on both Inferno and Nuke. They really were resolute in that. I think especially Nuke, we expected it to be a lot widespread, but Dynamic made it as competitive as possible. They were 8-2 down. Kudos to them. They brought it back 10-8. Unfortunately, unable to post anything after that. But Dynamic, they made it as competitive as we liked. We know BO5, big stage, big final, and Dynamic, they brought the heat. Yes, they were 3-0. They hiding at the end of a 3-0. But the fact is that we didn't expect them to come out and post the numbers that they did.
Yeah.
And 100% respect to them that they showed up. They told the naysayers wrong. I mean, many people said, we'll be surprised if Dynamic get double digits. But they ended the first map 16-12, and there's possibly scenarios in which they should have won the first map, which is testament to what the work that Dynamic have put in and the work that we're going to see Dynamic put in for the future and the future of this Dynamic roster. Obviously, Dweezil is one of the names that come to mind when you think of the players in that Dynamic roster. Unfortunately, he's not going to be the back-to-back Comic-Con winner. Blaze is going to have to take up that mantle if he is going to be next year competing for that sort of title. But I mean, it is what it is. Kudos to Dynamic, but ultimately ATK, they're the victors.
Indeed they are. You mentioned Blaze. He's now secured back-to-back Comic-Con titles as well. He did it with Energy Esports in 2019 along with Dweezil, ADM, the man as well, who unfortunately fell short this time around trying to defend his personal title. Of course, different org, but at the end of the day, he still would have wanted that result. Blaze, he's now secured the back-to-back as well. A player who's played in every single one of the finals of Comic-Con in the Counter-Strike competition, and he gets the job done here once again. But all 5 of the players on ATK chipped in, and they all had a great day throughout. So that is the grand final done and dusted, and it also brings an end to the season of the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5, a season which started 7 months ago and had to run across 3 different online leagues, or 3 different legs rather. I believe we do have Mr. with us once again, 3rd time lucky.
Hopefully.
There we go. We can hear you, Gareth. So, just continuing that conversation, Nick asked you that question. He said that you were looking really convincing. You had a great individual performance on the first 2 maps. How was it feeling for you?
I think I was feeling really good. I stayed up until like 4 a.m. yesterday. I was shooting like 3,000 bots. I was making sure that I was individually like as good as I can be. And what I was saying is Comic-Con was a goal for me from the beginning of the year, and I wanted to make sure that we won it at the end of the day. Even though we've won all the tournaments, like as everyone knows, this is a main event, so I wanted to make sure we won it in a convincing fashion.
So Gareth, just in case you didn't know, you probably do, but in case you didn't, 25 maps played, 25 maps won for the side of ATK throughout the whole of Comic-Con Online. So kudos to you guys. I mean, you've really put in the work. You've spoken about your depth in map pool. You've pretty much played every map, I would assume, throughout those 25. So what goes into the preparation through the 7 maps that you find yourself very comfortable on?
I think everyone just has a really good understanding of the map, and when me, Fady, and basically anyone on the team, when they bring ideas, we're constantly changing things, and we just make sure that everyone has an understanding of the map, rotations, protocols, retakes, defaults, everything, and everything just clicks, honestly.
So, Mistim, it's an interesting point that you mentioned there. You say that yourself and Fady, yeah, other people as well, but you guys are constantly evolving your game and changing up 1 or 2 small things. We always talk about how it's easy to reach number 1, or it's easier to reach number 1 in the scene, but to stay at number 1 is certainly more of a challenge. How do you guys adjust your game to make sure that you're not getting out-and-out counter-stratted and that people are going to be closing that gap on you?
Yeah, so when we played like Goliath and things like that, especially on Vertigo, we felt a lot of anti-stratting, and then that's when we brought in Inferno. And the way in which we just kept doing our thing is I personally watch a lot of demos, so if I see something, I just bring it to the team, and we just do it, and teams never really expect it because we understand the strat, and then we'll see some teams even steal our strats, and then we have the perfect counter to that. Yeah. So as soon as we see that, we just counter what they're doing.
100%. So, Gareth, you find yourself, you've won Comic-Con Online 2020. To all the people watching, have you got anything you want to say to them?
I just want to thank everyone for the support. I see a lot on Twitch chat. There's a lot of ATKs, and I just want to appreciate all the other teams that participated as well. I think it was a very good rounded event at all. So yeah, I just want to thank everyone for supporting us and being there, and shout out to my family and girlfriend that's always been there and being my motivation.
Yeah, awesome stuff, Gareth. So where to from here for the ATK CSGO team?
I think we're just going to chill, to make sure that we celebrate, and then we've got another tournament next weekend that we're going to prepare for.
Yeah, and then in the long-term sort of thing, of course, the conversation that keeps on coming up is you guys are going to be heading to America at your soonest opportunity. Of course, the pandemic that's taken over has made your guys' lives changed up a little bit, but long-term plans still to go over to the States as soon as you can?
Yeah, for sure. We want to go as soon as we can. We want to be able to keep improving every single time, and there's no better way to do it than overseas.
Awesome, Gareth. Well, thank you so much for joining us, man. It was fantastic to chat to you, and have a great rest of your day. And make sure that you celebrate large, bro.
I will do. Thank you.
Awesome, Mistim. So good to see you succeed, my guy. Really big fan, of course. Anybody and everybody. How can you hate that guy? He's just such a lovable person.
Honestly, I mean, if he's one of the players in the South African scene that's taking the mantle overseas, I mean, I couldn't be proud as a South African, as an esports lover, as a South African esports lover. I think it's big that we got Mistim leading the charge overseas, along the likes of Slowy and Fady and all the names we know. But I mean, to think that Mistim wasn't really in the conversation a year or two ago, and now he's looked at as possibly one of the best players in South Africa, or he is the best player, one of the best players in South Africa. So I think he's carrying the mantle of the South African flag on his back, and I think ATK are definitely going to do South Africa proud.
And the one thing I will say is that Mistim hasn't had an easy career. He started off, there was a lot of accusations flying around about him, and he has proven that he is genuinely legit and 100% deserved of all of his accolades. He started off, I think he may have played in that like Flipside team for a few months under Zero Chance, then just went a little bit anonymous for a bit. Eventually he came back, he joined that Energy team under Black Poison, and that was a bit of a tumultuous period as well, but he stuck at it. He knew what he was capable of. He took everything in his stride. He grew, he expanded, he continued to add to his wealth of experience. He had a tough time under that Energy team as well. He was the youngster, the up-and-coming player, playing amongst the elite South Africans. He continued to grind, add his trade. He then played in Sinister 5. Again, he found himself with Zero Chance, and there is where he really started to grow and expand his knowledge. Zero Chance has played a massive role in the growth of Mistim as an individual and a player, and it's just so great to see him succeed. Let us move across, though, to our next interview. We're joined by Warren Barkhuizen, the owner of ATK. Thank you for joining us once again, Warren.
Yeah, my pleasure.
How are you feeling right now after watching the boys secure that series 3-0?
Yeah, it was good. I was really expecting a good game, and we got it, I guess. I always message them when it gets to double digits, when they say it's not going to be double digits. And I'm like, you're trying to give me a heart attack. I'm old. It's not good for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's...
they're making it good viewership, you know. We don't want stomps all the time, so they just make it as competitive as possible, you know.
Yeah. it's nobody likes just a stomp, so that was good. It was great to see.
So
it's good for, that we're being tested. That's the good thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, going over to America, of course, the level of competition is going to starkly increase. So it's certainly going to be making it a lot more challenging for you guys. So you do want to know what it's like to have to play from behind. But your guys have proven that they do still have what it takes to make the comebacks necessary when it matters. I don't know if you heard Nick say they won 25 consecutive maps here in the main event. Didn't drop a map.
Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, what can you say?
So, Flea, a question I want to ask you, because it's something I've mentioned a couple times, that when this ATK roster was formed, there were a couple people who said
best when we could, and we put some proper thought into it, and we backed the guys. And I don't get too involved with things. And they evaluated individual players who were going to come in, so we're expecting good things. And yeah, it worked out. It worked out well.
100%. So, Flea, I want to ask, we spoke to Gareth, we asked him what's next for ATK, but I want to hear from your point of view, what's next for ATK, not only ATK CS, but ATK as a whole?
Okay, so you know that we're aiming for NA for the CS team, Europe probably for Apex Legends, Asia for the Siege team, and we're expanding. We'll carry on expanding. So obviously we've only got one venue in Cape Town, but that's going to change quite soon. So we've been up and down taking a look at other options. There were actually a spot was supposed to open up in June. I was in the States in March to sign some deals and do all the rest of it, and get back and go sign leases, but. We know what happened. So yeah, we'll carry on. We're still looking at other teams, and things are going pretty well on kind of all the parts of the business. So,
Flea, when you have your boys go over across to America, do you have any intention on maybe forming like an Academy CSGO roster here to keep on local soil?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a must. Okay,
so even though you intend to send all your teams overseas, you still want to have vested interest in South African esports?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been saying this all the time. There's definitely skills in this country. We've seen it, and we need to keep feeding people. And giving opportunities more than anything else.
Awesome. All right, well, that's all from myself. Nick?
Yeah, I just want to say from an esports lover myself, I want to thank you for the investment that you've had in not only ATK, but setting the precedent for South African esports as a whole, like the time and money that you've put in, the investment that you've put in, the blood, sweat and tears that I'm sure you've put in. I want to say thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a really great community to be part of. It's nice to see good results coming out of this. We'll keep on pushing. So thank you.
All right, well, Flea, Warren, of course, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. It was great to chat to you once again. Nick, I love that he says that they're still going to continue to invest in South African esports. There was that big thing happened with Bravado where they ended up moving to America, and it was like a tree trunk that had just been uprooted and just left this vacant space that you can't fill, right? So as soon as ATK left, we would have something similar, but no, there will still be some continuation from the ATK brand.
That's exactly why I give them 100% props, right? They're not just like ditching us South Africans for the overseas guys. They're still leaving the roots that we love in terms of South African Counter-Strike and South African esports as a whole, which I have to give props to ATK for doing so. Bravado, they sort of started it off. ATK, they carrying on. Yeah. And I've got to give 100% props to them for what they're doing, not only for Counter-Strike, not only for Siege, not only for Fortnite, etc., but for South African esports as a whole. They're really putting us on the map, and that's exactly what we need for South African esports as a whole, to grow the community, to make it more mainstream than we see in in North America and we see in Europe, and that's exactly what ATK are doing.
Put South Africa on the map. We are existed, we are here, and we have incredibly talented players. If you're not going to look at it, we will show you. That is the name of the game right now, ATK. They convinced everybody in this victory they just had in the grand finals of Comic-Con Africa Online. But that is all from us this weekend, guys. My name is Hayes. I've been joined by Nick. You can go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I'd really appreciate it, at Hayes Castings, and you can follow him as well, at Nick Bart. Try and help me get closer to his follow account, because I can't let this guy continue to have more than me. It just breaks my heart every single day. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you joining us throughout this entirety of the weekend. Really, really appreciate all the support across the board, continued throughout the entirety of the year, culminating in this weekend. It's been amazing to see, and really just a general thanks from everybody here in the background, in the production, and the staff. It's been great. We thank you so much. It's been the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5 Comic-Con Africa Online Finals. That's all we got. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.